But they should say, great job. They shouldn't say, oh, gee, maybe it's not constitutional. The same old stuff.
They should say we did a great job. They shouldn't say, oh, my, it's not constitutional. What has the president got to do with the Constitution? Nothing. Okay? All right? The president doesn't have anything to do with the Constitution. The president does not have time to be worrying about what is and isn't constitutional. It's not in his job description anywhere. Donald Trump has attacked Venezuela, and we have kidnapped their president. Don't know if you heard that yet, but the helicopters went in, they blew up a bunch of shit, and then they broke into the president's residence, I suppose, or wherever he was at the time. Wherever you are is where you were residing, I suppose. And they took him. They kidnapped him illegally. The news media is going to use the word captured, but captured is a military term for people we're at war with. We are not at war with them. So we did not capture him.
Our news said not only the president, but also his wife was kidnapped.
Yeah, they took his wife too, because she just happened to be in the room, I suppose. We kidnapped him. And we're going to listen to the president tell us about it. Bam. There we go. All right, let's listen to state-run media tell you how great this was. We're going to put it at 1.25 speed as well, so that we can get through it quicker. And I'm going to interrupt him anytime I feel like it, because he's a liar.
Hello human, it is me, the algorithm. Press the subscribe button to make me happy.
9 a.m. on the East Coast, and if you're just joining us this morning, we have major breaking news. Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro has been captured by U.S. forces. President Trump confirming
kidnapped.
the large-scale U.S. military operation overnight.
Attorney General Pam Bondi confirming Maduro and his wife face drug and weapons charges in the U.S. And about 20 minutes ago, Vice President J.
Because they have charges against them? Well, so did the guy that got pardoned last month. Donald Trump pardoned a drug kingpin from Honduras last month. But this one,
J.D. Vance revealing President Trump offered Maduro multiple off-ramps.
All this comes after explosions rocked the capital of Caracas and surrounding states.
Actual explosions.
President Trump is expected to hold a news conference from Mar-a-Lago at
we'll watch that here in a few
11
minutes
a.m. this morning. But first, he joins us now by phone, and let's get right to the President of the United States, Donald Trump. President Trump, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning.
So you've had quite a busy evening. Tell us about it.
It was slightly busy, I would say. It was very dark all over, especially in Venezuela.
Dark all over.
The team did an incredible job. They rehearsed and practiced
because it was nighttime,
like nobody's ever seen. And I was told by real military people that there's no other country on earth that could do such a maneuver. If you would have seen what happened, I mean, I watched it literally like I was watching a television show. And
nobody else on earth can do that, because if they had the capability of doing that, we would bomb them. If anybody had any sort of military capabilities the way we do, we would kill them.
You would have seen the speed, the violence. They say that the speed, the violence. They use that term. It's it was an amazing thing, an amazing job that these people did. There's nobody else could have done anything like it.
You're at Mar-a-Lago right now. How were you able to watch this?
Well, we watched it from a room. We had a room, and we watched it. And we watched every aspect
Jesus,
of it.
what a stupid fucking question.
Lots of people, including generals, and they knew everything that was happening, and it was very complex, extremely complex, the whole maneuver, the landings, the number of aircraft, which were a massive number, the number of helicopters, a different type of helicopters, different type of fighter jets. We had a fighter jet for every possible situation, and they just broke in, and they broke into places that were not really able to be broke into.
God, he's got a baby brain.
Were put there for just this reason. And they got taken out in a matter of seconds. I've never seen anything like it. Actually.
And you were able to watch this in real time.
Yeah, don't forget, I've done some pretty good ones in other parts of the world. Okay, I've done some pretty good ones.
I've done some pretty good ones.
I've never seen anything like this. I was able to watch it in real time, and I watched every aspect of it, and I listened to the communication between, where we were in Florida and out in the field in Venezuela. And it was amazing to see the professionalism, the quality of leadership, the professionalism. General Raising Cane is fantastic.
Raising Cane.
We did
he only likes
not
Raising
so long
Cane
ago.
because of the cool nickname. It's just like Mad Dog Mattis. He loved Mad Dog Mattis until he found out that Mad Dog Mattis follows the rules and the laws and the ethics. And he has ethics, and he's not going to do everything Donald Trump says. So he hates him after that. He just likes Raising Cane because he's got a cool nickname. Cool nicknames are all that President Baby Brain cares about.
Thank you for following Latino Brain.
Latino Brain, I appreciate that. You're turning a freaking frog, eh? Proud of you. Glad you did it. Good job.
Iranian nuclear threat, the nuclear power. And that was
Why is he going on about Iran?
There. And this is something that
was
I don't know,
a year ago.
Amazing. And
it was illegal then too.
A few injuries, but no death on our side is really amazing.
Mr. President, critics will say that strong action can risk escalation, but history has shown us that weakness can truly invite chaos. And
weakness invites chaos. This is strength you're looking at right here. According to Fox News, this is strength. Killing defenseless people, that's strength. We want to avoid chaos. Christ almighty.
Clearly sends a message to our adversaries around the world, China, Iran, Russia.
Yeah, it does send a message. We will kill you if we fucking feel like it. It doesn't matter what the rules are. It doesn't matter what the law says. We will do whatever the fuck we want.
A surprise attack.
A surprise attack. So manly. Exactly. Absolutely. That's the message we're sending. We can do whatever we want no matter what. Fuck you. Fuck your face. We will bomb you and we will fucking kidnap your goddamn president if we damn well feel like it.
That we are no longer the weak administration that we had for 4 years under former President Biden, who tolerated narco-terrorism. What is next for the United States?
She's on the news. She's supposed to be a biased news reporter. Weak Biden president, a weakness for 4 years under President Biden. She's blatantly paid to kiss his ass. How do you trust these people?
And Venezuela.
Well, we're very strong, and very importantly, if you look at drugs through the oceans, through the seas, they're down 97%. That's the boats that's sort of related to this, as you know.
Venezuela does not bring
down, and it's getting very, very tough.
Fentanyl. They don't. Zero.
Look,
fentanyl
we have a whole
from
different
them.
country.
Zero.
We have a country now that's respected.
They're bringing cocaine and weed.
I built the military in my first term, and they gave a little chunk of it away, but it was a lot.
Murdering people
but it was
in
a little chunk
the
relative to what
ocean
we
for
built.
weed.
But they gave it to Afghanistan so stupidly. It was one of the. Compare this to Afghanistan, where we were a laughingstock all over the world. We're not a laughingstock anymore. No, we have the greatest military in the world by far. We have the greatest military equipment in the world.
Tolerated narco-terrorism. Well, I would
this,
say the free speech works great in the U.S.
Bravery,
exactly.
everything about it. And you almost couldn't hold them back. It was like they wanted to go so badly. And most people would have said, I'll take a pass. I know that Charlie would have wanted to go because Charlie's a very brave person. But I know a lot of other people would have said, I think I'll pass on this one. Let's watch it on television.
People who want to go bomb Venezuela. Everybody's like, hey, let's go. The fuck?
It's been amazing to see how good they were, how professional they were, how incredible the equipment we have is. I mean, the level of equipment and to see how it worked so perfectly. And, you know, if you compare this to attacks on Iran over the years with, you know, helicopters crashing into each other, the whole thing was a mess.
What? Helicopters crashing into each other? When Biden's in charge of the military, helicopters just crash into each other. Like, he doesn't tell them not to crash into each other. It takes a real intelligent, high-level president like baby brain Trump to tell the helicopters not to crash into each other.
Jimmy Carter's situation, which was a mess, and every other situation compared to this, nobody's ever seen like this. Look, the Iranian attack, knocking out their nuclear power was big. We had peace in the Middle East, and we have it.
No, we don't. We do not have peace in the Middle East. We do not stop them from building a nuclear power in Iran. We slowed them down maybe by a couple of months, and then they've caught up to back to where they were, and now we don't know where they are. We don't know where they're building that stuff. We did almost nothing to dissuade Iran. Nothing.
Without that, you could never have peace in the Middle East. We knocked them out, and look what's happening now to Iran, but we knocked it out. That was, it could not have been better, and this could not have been better. I don't even know which is, these are both really important. If you think about equal and importance, I wonder how it's going to be rated, but knocking out the nuclear power of regular, they were ready. They were within 2 months. They would have been a nuclear power. And comparing that to this in a certain different way, I think this might have been actually more complex.
Oh, we finally get back to the topic at hand. Thank you. Great.
But that was something that was amazing.
It's interesting, Mr. President. We've looked, our own Lucas Tomlinson, our reporter here. I don't know if you knew this intentionally, but the capture of Maduro and his wife coincides with the 6th anniversary of your taking out the Iranian Revolutionary Guard's Qasem Soleimani. Interestingly, it's
again, why are we talking about the past? Let's talk about the fucking news. Fox News. It's got the word new, N-E-W, right there in it. Perhaps we should stop talking about Iran and Soleimani, shit that happened a year ago, and talk about the goddamn fucking bombs that are blowing up right now, today. You're absolutely right, Philip. This is what we get for allowing him to lie all the time, constantly, without anybody challenging him.
After, but let me ask you a question, Mr. President.
By
Because
the way, that was the third thing, and we have a fourth. We got Soleimani. We have taken out so many. Look at what we did to the leader of ISIS, who's no longer with us, right? That everybody was after for 20 years, and we got him. We've done a lot, but this was something, maybe because it's fresh in our minds, because again, the Iranian situation was so big, knocking that out, and the B-2 bomber, every single missile hit its target, and the target was an air shaft.
Right.
Dark at night. Think of that. Dark at night, no moon. You couldn't see a thing, and every missile went right through that air shaft, and just
Because we have a good military. That's great. The point is to not need them and use them unnecessarily. This is unnecessary warfare. When the Dems accidentally kill a civilian, we replace that Dem. We get rid of them. We tell them that they're a warmonger. We get rid of them. But this guy loves killing unnecessary people.
so obliterated the place. So that was amazing, and this was amazing.
I wonder, Mr. President, I want to ask you because from your Vice President, J.D. Vance, said that the message is pretty clear. The drug trafficking must stop. So was this operation a message that you're sending to Mexico, to Claudia Sheinbaum, the president there?
Well, it wasn't meant to be, and we're very
Claudia
friendly with her.
Sheinbaum.
She's a good woman, but the cartels are running Mexico. She's not running Mexico. The cartels are running Mexico.
The cartels are running Mexico. Killer Mike, this is why I think that Mexico is next. I said that earlier this morning. I think Mexico is next. He's going to tell us that the cartels are running Mexico, and then he's going to kidnap the president of Mexico.
And we could be politically correct and be nice and say, "Oh, yes, she is." No, she's very, she's very frightened of the cartels. They're running Mexico, and I've asked her numerous times, "Would you like us to take out the cartels?" No, Mr. President. No, please. So we have to do something because we lost the real.
He offered to the president of Mexico to take out the cartels, which means it would look exactly like this. He would send helicopters, he would send fighter jets, he would just bomb the shit out of everyone near him, anyone near a drug processing place. He would just bomb the shit out of everything, everywhere, anywhere he wants. And he's like, I don't understand. He doesn't get it. He doesn't comprehend why the president of Mexico doesn't want American gunships flying down there and shooting the shit out of everybody. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. He's like, why don't you want my very large guns to come into your country and murder a bunch of people? What's wrong with you? Are you okay? Are you politically correct? You don't want my guns murdering your citizens? Even if they're criminals. I called them criminals. Don't just call them criminals. You're allowed to kill people if you call them criminals. It's fine. It's okay to kill people if you called them criminals first. You just do it. That's how the world works now. He's really dead ass just repeating the worst parts of modern history and hopes for no one else. Yeah, he does not know what he's doing. He just hurts the people he doesn't like. And right now, he doesn't like Venezuela. And he doesn't like those cartels. So he's going to just attack them and kill them.
The number is 300,000 people, in my opinion. They like to say 100,000.
So he's
100,000 is a lot of people, but
he's saying that 100,000 people die in America from overdoses, and that's what Google says as well. How many people die from drugs in America every year, and the number is 100,000 annually. He's saying it's 300,000 because fuck you. Fuck your numbers. Doesn't matter that intelligent people went and did the math and did up all the counting and did some sort of scientific method to determine how many people die from overdose. No, he just needs the number to be bigger. No, not 100,000. It's more like 300,000. He says more like 300,000. Where did that number come from? Well, he pulled it out of his ass. Doesn't matter. Numbers are of no value to Donald Trump. He will make them up. And if they don't sound grand and big enough, he'll just make a new one. He'll just invent a new one and tell you that's the real number. The real number, disagreeing with Google, according to Donald Trump, is 300,000 people dying of drug overdoses. I mean, all the scientists and all the math and all the people in the world have determined that it's 100,000. But Donnie says it's 300,000. So it's just 300,000. You just got to get used to it. That's the world you live in now, where he gets to make up all the numbers. Serious question. After the crap in Venezuela, is possible how will the U.S. attack Greenland? Maybe. We're not sure who's next. I mean, our country will be more precise. I would personally would be involved in the topic. And whether or not it's Greenland or the Panama Canal or Mexico or Cuba is still up in the air. We're not sure yet.
The real number is 300,000 people, and we lost it to drugs, and they come in through the southern border, mostly the southern border. Plenty come in through Canada, too, by the way.
Cuba.
In case you don't know. But they come in through the southern border, and something's going to have to be done with Mexico.
Why
He's mentioning
did you decide
Mexico.
to do this
Killer Mike, that's all I'm
morning?
saying. I'm not saying Cuba's impossible. I'm just saying that they are more likely to kiss his ass, and then he'll say that they're okay. Like, I have a feeling, and I haven't watched the other thing that they did this morning, the thing they did after this, but we will get to it soon.
Are you talking about calling you people or the shot?
No, taking out
I'm not sure.
Maduro.
I'm not sure which is worse. If you want to know the truth, I'm calling you. I haven't spoken to anybody else because Charlie Hurd has been a great friend of mine for a long time. He was with me when it was not fashionable.
Kissing his ass.
And those are the people
At Valhor 666, not only, it's also an important militarily strategic place for ruling over the Atlantic Ocean.
But I meant, why did you make the decision to
Casually
take out Maduro
dropping
this morning?
Canada's
And
name
what
in the
was
worst
Maduro
possible
doing
contexts. I think they might be next.
Canada might be next. You're right. We're not sure who is next.
when our guys came in on him?
So we were going to do this 4 days ago, but the weather was not perfect. The weather has to be perfect. And
We were going to do this 4 days ago. I think that timing matters. Today is the 3rd of January. 4 days ago would have been December in 2024. He wanted to do it in 2024 so that he can still run for the Nobel Peace Prize in 2025. See, that the rain, the weather has now pushed him back by 4 days, and now he's invading on 2025. So his 2025 Peace Prize is going to go up in smoke. It's very sad, but I think that's why he wanted to do it then.
And we had just the perfect weather. We had, very good. A little bit few more clouds than we thought, but it was good. We waited 4 days. We were going to do this 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago. And then all of a sudden it opened up and we said go. And I'll tell you, it was just amazing. And what was he doing? He was in a very highly guarded, like a fortress, actually. He was in.
You mean like the White House? You mean like the place the president lives? Presidents live in highly guarded places, you fucking dipshit.
Fortress. That we had nobody killed was amazing. I think we had nobody killed, I have to say, because a couple of guys were hit, but they came back and they're supposed to be in pretty good shape. But that we had nobody killed, that we lost no aircraft. Everything came back. We got it all back. One of them was hit pretty hard, but a helicopter, but we got it back. But it just was the right time to do it. We had to do it because it's a war. We're losing 300,000.
It's not a war. We're not losing 300,000 Americans. We're losing 100,000 Americans, and they want those drugs. Why do Americans die from overdose? Because they intentionally, willingly wanted those drugs. They seeked them out. They found them. They paid for them. And then they took them. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying stop the demand for the drugs, and you will lose fewer people. If you kill the suppliers, someone new will just step in to do the supplying. 97% of the boats have been blown up. Okay, great. Well, they're going to come on a plane then. They're going to come across a border. They're going to get snuck in someplace else. They're going to come on a train. And then he's going to blow up all the trains. He's going to blow up all the borders. He's going to blow up all the planes. And people will just walk it in. They'll mail it in. And then he'll blow up all the mail. And then they'll go back to boats because you're paying attention to the walkers and the trains and the mail. The U.S. is the biggest army in the world against the heavy military machinery. It's not a good time to be not American. It's not a good time to be a human right now. The people want those drugs. They love them. They like them. All human societies have loved drugs to some degree. Humans love drugs. They always have. They love them. And they will do whatever they can to get them. Do they die from overdoses? Yes. That is something that we need to deal with. But you cannot deal with that by killing Venezuelans and kidnapping the president. This will do nothing to lower those numbers. If those numbers lower, it will just be a coincidence. And I'll find out what those numbers are, and we'll look at it. But the government doesn't count numbers anymore. And when the government puts out 100,000 next year, the same number we've had for all these other years, Donald Trump will claim victory because it was actually 300,000, a number he made up. He made up a number that's too big. And then next year when they do the counting, he will say, remember last year when I said it was 300,000? Now it's 100,000. You're welcome. He's lying about the numbers. He's lying about the methodology. He's lying constantly, nonstop, never ending lies constantly.
1,000 people a year. We don't lose that much in a war. Okay, if you look. And we had to do it. But he was in a house that was more like a fortress than a house. It had
like the White House. Jesus Christ.
Steel doors. It had what they call a safety space where it's...
Presidents live in houses that are like fortresses. Why? How is he talking about this as if it's some sort of surprise?
Solid steel all around. He didn't get that space closed. He was trying to get into it, but he got bum rushed so fast that he didn't get into that. We were prepared. We had, massive blowtorches and everything else that you need to get through that steel, but we didn't need it. He didn't make it to that area of the house.
Mr. President, your war on narcoterrorism from our southern border and beyond clearly will save American lives. Moving forward for Venezuela, what do you think is next for
Doesn't the White House have a safety bunker on it?
Yes, but that's for American presidents, Jacinto. He doesn't think that other countries are real. He doesn't know that there are other people in the world. America is number one, and America has a president, and they live in a safety bunker. Why would the president of Venezuela have a safety bunker? That's just nonsense. Like, he just lives in a house. He doesn't know. He has never thought about other people. He can't put himself in someone else's shoes. It's impossible. Most conservatives can't. They are literally incapable of imagining themselves in someone else's position. This is why they have the politics that they have. They are incapable of thinking about someone else's thoughts. They can't do it. They're just literally inapt. They cannot comprehend it. But let's keep going.
Moved Maduro so that he can face American justice.
Well, we're making that decision now. We can't take a chance on letting somebody else run and just take over where he left off. So we're making that decision now. We'll be involved in it very much. And we want to do liberty for the people. We want to, have a great relationship. I think the people
liberty
of Venezuela are very, very
Fucking
happy
joke.
because they love the United States. They were run by essentially a dictatorship or worse. It couldn't have been worse. It was a terrible thing that was taking place in Venezuela. But look,
liberty for the people. And in the next conference, I bet he talks about how we're going to choose the next fucking leader. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm making a prediction.
Tremendous numbers of people were being killed through drugs. And what they did to our country in sending prisoners and people from mental institutions.
That never happened.
Drug lords and everything.
It's one of the biggest lies that he gets away with.
Thousands of people into our country.
No evidence that has ever happened anywhere, ever. And he says it every single day. Why can the press not ask him, do you have evidence of this happening? Where is the evidence that they emptied their mental institutions into America? Who said they did that? Where are the documents? Where is the newspaper in Venezuela? Where are the Venezuelan doctors? Where are the Ecuadorian and the Guatemalan doctors saying that proving that their facilities are emptied into America? There is none. There is no evidence of this ever happening, ever. And he says it every single day. Drives me nuts.
Unforgivable. That's why, he wanted to negotiate at the end, and I didn't want to negotiate. I said, nope, we got to do it. He was trying to negotiate at the end. You probably saw that.
Negotiate.
And trying hard to make a deal.
I mean, making a deal.
I said, this could have been a very foolish thing if it didn't work out. But I said, nope, we can't do it. What he did with drugs was bad. What he did with a lot of other things was bad. But what he did was sending hundreds of thousands of Tren de Aragua and drug
never
dealers.
Happened.
And they emptied out their jails.
Never happened.
They emptied out, if you think about it, they emptied out all of their mental institutions.
Never happened.
What he did there, and every other thing, is unforgivable.
Mr. President, you're already getting reaction from members of Congress on both sides. One Democrat, Jim McGovern, is saying that you did not get authorization from Congress. And he says Trump just launched an unjustified illegal strike on Venezuela. Wanted to get your reaction to that.
Well, look, these are weak, stupid people, and they're trying to save themselves from almost destroying our country. If I didn't get elected, our country would not, I don't even think we'd have a country right now.
No country. There'd just be a big, dead, empty spot. Just the maps would have to be redrawn. The globe would have to be recreated and reprinted because it'd just be empty water there where America used to be.
Down the path of destruction. We had inflation. We had high prices.
Country.
They're the ones that caused high prices.
Wouldn't exist.
We're bringing the prices way down. We have oil now in many places $1.99 a gallon. And, when you do oil, everything follows, but everything is following. But no, they would have destroyed our country. If we didn't get elected, if Kamala or a Joe type got elected, if that group got elected, but if Kamala got elected...
He actually remembered Kamala. Most of the time, he doesn't remember her. He complains about Joe Biden, and he said if Joe Biden got elected again, because he wanted to run against his boyfriend, old man Yowie, boyfriend Joe Biden. They loved each other. It was a whole thing.
But they should say, great job. They shouldn't say, oh, gee, maybe it's not constitutional. You know, the same old stuff.
They should say we did a great job. They shouldn't say, oh my, it's not constitutional. What has the president got to do with the Constitution? Nothing, okay? All right? The president doesn't have anything to do with the Constitution. The president does not have time to be worrying about what is and isn't constitutional. It's not in his job description anywhere. He does not know what the law is. He does not know what the Constitution is. He doesn't know what it says. He doesn't know what Congress does. He doesn't know what the Senate does. He does not care. And his supporters also do not care. They want him to do badass things. They want him to do cool shit. They want him to bomb the shit out of some people. They want him to use the guns that they have been paying for to kill the bad guys. That is what they want. That is all that conservatives want for their government to do. They don't want it to give food stamps to poor people. They don't want it to tax rich people. They don't want it to collect taxes unless they, they don't want it to collect taxes from them. They don't want it to put together diplomatic plans for the future of the globe. They don't want it to reach out to other countries and make deals. They don't want it to do anything except shoot bad guys. Find a bad guy, shoot them. That is all they want the government to do. That is all the conservatives want the government to do. Kill bad guys. And the bad guys, ironically, are whoever the president says they are. Easy, simple, right? Because they have baby brains. Conservatives have baby brains. They cannot comprehend anyone outside themselves. They do not recognize that there are human beings outside themselves. They don't even know. They can't put their thoughts into the head of someone else and think what life would be like if they were born someplace else. They are so self-centered, they're incapable of that thought. Yep, education system. Yep, they hate that. Bomb the shit out of brown people. In the next sentence, he'll call for the peace prize. Yeah, exactly. This is the opposite of nerd shit. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Bombing the shit out of people is the opposite of nerd shit. Okay, nerd shit is coming together with them to understand the problem, find the people responsible, hold them responsible within a court of law, and then prevent the drugs from coming in the future. That's what a diplomatic approach would look like. Hey, President of Venezuela, your people are doing this. We would like that to stop. We're going to arrest them. We're going to put them in handcuffs. And we're going to send them back to you, and you're going to put them in jail, and we're going to help you to prevent them from coming in the future. That's nerd shit. Conservatives want to just bomb the bad guys. Find a bad guy and bomb them.
Hello again, human. It is me, the algorithm. Press the thumbs up button to experience human feelings.
That we've been hearing for years and years and years. They did an incredible job. These men and women that went out there last night, the courage they had, going into an area where, all the lights were turned on. We turned off almost all of the lights in Caracas.
Standard warfare, boss.
This thing was so organized. And they go into a dark space with machine guns facing them all over the place. And then you hear from a guy that I'd never even heard of him, but you hear from some congressman saying, oh, this is so terrible. We're saving lives. And by the way,
it's illegal. You're supposed to go through the Congress for these things, but you don't know that because you are the emperor. You think that you are, and you think that America has been run by an emperor that we just elect every 4 years. It's not how it works. He doesn't know how the government works. He doesn't know how Congress works. He does not know that the president should get authorization from the Senate and the House before he goes to war. He does not know that. He does not care. He is the emperor. He is the decider. He decides what we do 100% of the time.
By the way, the boats, every boat, because that's sort of related to this, every boat that we hit saves 25,000 lives.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get any hosannas or thanks from certain Democrats in Congress, that's for sure. But one of the things...
These are news people. You're supposed to tell people the facts in the news, but you're not. You're kissing Donald Trump's ass and insulting one side of the political spectrum because you're a hack, because you are a political mouthpiece paid to push one side.
You've already obviously cracked down on these drug boats. You've also cracked down on these illegal oil shipments coming out of Venezuela.
Oil, here we go.
The countries that negotiate with Venezuela for those that illegal oil are already starting to suffer.
Fox is satire, and everyone just pretends it's real.
Oil industry.
Well, I see that we're going to be very strongly involved in it. That's all.
We're going to be strongly involved in the oil industry in Venezuela. This is the point. This is why he did this. This is not about drugs. That's a lie. Don't believe him. He pardoned a drug runner from Guatemala last month. He wants to steal their oil. We have illegally kidnapped their president, and the pansy, weak-kneed, lame-ass state media, paid by the Republican Party to push Republican ideas, will tell you that we captured him. We didn't capture him, we kidnapped him. The news won't tell you that. And even the centrist news, the CNNs and the MSNBCs, are going to use the word captured because they don't want to get sued. They're scared of being sued by the president and losing a percentage of the profit. They are not there to tell you things. They are not there to inform you, is what I should say. The mainstream media is not there to inform you. They are there to sell you a narrative. The right-wing media, which is most media in the country, is there to sell you a narrative that this is a good idea. Maduro was no saint. He was a bad guy. He was a authoritarian, super bad guy. And we had to kill a bunch of people to steal him, and we had to kidnap him, and we're going to make Venezuela great again. That's the idea that they're going to sell you. The centrists are going to tell you that this is fine and it's unconstitutional if you think about it, but don't think about it and it's fine. It was just a police action. And the Democrat media, the MSNBCs and the stuff like that, will tell you that it's bad and you should vote for Democrats and you should donate to Democrat causes. That's what they're there for. They're not there to inform you. They are there to make money. The right-wing media is there to make money for the Republicans and make money for Donald Trump and convince you that he's a good guy. The centrist media is there to make money on soda ads and prescription medication ads. If you've ever watched CNN, it's filled with prescription medication ads. And the Democrat media, the MSNBC, is there to tell you to donate to the DNC. What does Donald Trump want? He wants a new president that is friendly with America, friendly with him. This new president will allow American oil companies to come in and set up their infrastructure and extract their oil. And every dollar those companies make, they'll give 3 pennies to that president, that new president. And if the people of Venezuela are lucky, that new president isn't a crook who keeps all the pennies. He might. And what about those Venezuelan people? Do they get a choice in who replaces it? No, I doubt it. They get no choices. They play along or they fight an insurgency, just like they did in Iraq and Iran. But that seems unlikely. Maduro did not have a whole lot of fans. So what they're going to do, depending on how crooked the next person is, Donald Trump's going to choose who leads that country. He is going to choose who leads Venezuela. He will put them in charge, and then the American oil companies will come in. Exxon, Chevron, ConocoPhillips, they will come in and they will start stealing the oil. And for every dollar, they're going to give 3 cents to that new president. And depending on how crooked he is, he might use 2 of those pennies and put them in his pocket, and then use 1 of those pennies to build a school, to build a road, to build up their own infrastructure, their electrical grid, their military. If he's not corrupt, he's going to only keep 1 of those pennies and use 2 of them on building his country up. But that's the best they get. Corruption is the root of all problems. Yeah, and money is corrupting. Yeah, the corruption equals rich right-wing bastard to power equals good politics. Yeah, money is the reason we're doing all of this. Oil, money is the reason we're doing this.
Now, what can I say? We have the greatest oil companies in the world.
We have the greatest oil companies in the world.
And we're going to be very much involved in it.
We're going to be very much involved in their oil companies. The oil that comes out of their ground will go to us and our companies. Fuck the people who live there. Fuck the people who are born there. You get nothing. It's our oil because we bombed you and took it.
We can't do something like this, and we're prepared. You know, we were prepared to do a second wave. We were all set, and this was so lethal. This was so powerful that we didn't have to, but we're prepared. We're out there with an armada like nobody's ever seen before, and we're prepared, and frankly, probably thought we were going to have to do it, but we were prepared for a second wave going in.
Mr. President, sorry, Nicole, can I just follow up on one thing? And that was when part of Vice President Vance's tweet about an hour ago said that you offered several off-ramps to Maduro that he didn't take. What did those off-ramps look like?
Well, basically, I said you have to give up. You have to surrender. And he was close, but in the end, I really didn't. We had to do something that was...
He doesn't know. He does not understand diplomacy. He does not understand off ramps and third position. Hey, here's our position. Here's your position. Let's negotiate towards a central position where we both get something we want. He doesn't know what that means. He doesn't understand. When he says the word deal, what he means is extortion. This is what I want. Here's what I will do if you do not give it to me. I want your oil. If you do not give it to me, I will bomb your city and kidnap you. That's the deal that he laid out. And when that guy said no, we did it.
Really much more surgical, much more powerful. This was much more powerful than anything we could have done. This is amazing. And we learned a lot going into. We learned a lot of things. But
jibber jabber,
really
none of this makes any sense.
And I had discussions. I actually spoke to him myself. But I said, you have to give up. You have to surrender.
When did you speak to him?
He was not willing. A week ago.
Yeah, you have to surrender. You give us all your oil for free, or I will kidnap you. That is the deal he made them, and he will call this a deal. It's extortion.
A couple of times, but a week ago.
Mr. President, this is clearly a signature moment for your administration, this military strike, the capture of Maduro.
We've had a lot of...
Again, kissing his ass. You're supposed to be a news reporter. The word news is right there on the screen. And you are kissing his ass, giving him everything he wants, making him feel good. Disgusting.
Signature moments, if you really think about it.
Certainly was. Let's add it to the list, one of the signature moments. But what do you say to the people waking up to this news this morning who are concerned that these actions may result in prolonged involvement of U.S. military in Venezuela?
Well, first of all, I say that what we're doing is saving lives because the drug trafficking is so bad. It's gotten so out of control. And, when you think 97% of the drugs coming in by sea, by ocean, He's dodging the question. Are we going to be there for years? Is it going to be a forever war like Iraq and Afghanistan? Waterway, 97% down. It's almost nothing left. You don't see ships. You don't see anybody. You see very few ships coming in loaded up with, hundreds of bags of fentanyl, cocaine, and everything else. No fentanyl ever came from Venezuela. Zero. You can imagine. It's virtually stopped. And we'll stop it on land. And this was one of the things that we did to stop it on land. We had to do this. In order to stop it on land, this was a part of it. There are other parts and there are other areas, frankly. But what they did is really amazing. And I think it sends a signal. We're not going to be pushed around as a country anymore by these countries where we want to be politically correct all the time. They're killing our people. If we had a war, if you lost 300,000 people in the Civil War, we lost 600,000 people. We lose 300,000 people a year to drugs. Made up number. We're not going to allow it anymore with any country.
You said that you were prepared for a second wave, and I assume that you still are. But what does the future look like for the Maduro loyalists who are still in Caracas and I assume have not yet fled or been removed?
Well, if they stay loyal, the future is really bad. Really bad for them.
We'll kill them.
If they convert,
bomb them.
There's a conversion factor.
Our guns will kill them.
Have converted. He's had very little loyalty.
And a lot of innocent people on the way. Because Donald Trump doesn't care about accidentally killing innocent people. The reasoning for Afghanistan and Iraq taking a long time is because the politicians didn't want to be responsible for killing innocent people. They killed 1 million of them in Iraq, if you count the numbers really. 1 million people died in Iraq. But they needed to slowly do that so they couldn't be blamed for civilian deaths. Donald doesn't care about civilian deaths. He does not care about civilian casualties. He does not. If you told him we could get this done sooner by a week, if we just allow 1,000 civilians to die, he'd accept that. George Bush wouldn't have accepted that. And Democrats wouldn't have started the war at all. Or they would have said, yes, we have to do it, but let's draw it out much, much, much longer, much slower, door-to-door war like they did in Iraq, so that we don't accidentally kill somebody who doesn't deserve it. Donald doesn't care about that. He does not care about civilian casualties. We haven't gotten any of the numbers yet, but we will over the next week or so. And I suspect that a lot of civilians died today, and he will not care. And if there is an insurgency of Maduro stands, I don't know that there is. I have no idea. If there are, they will get bombed and they will get exploded by drones, by the American military, and the people near them will also suffer and die. Civilian casualties will happen, and he'll just look at the camera and tell you, had to be done. Couldn't have avoided it. Had to be done. And he will lose no support for it. If George Bush had killed extra civilians unnecessarily, he would have lost support. MAGA does not care. MAGA does not think that these are human beings. According to MAGA, there are very few humans outside of America. You're not a person if you live in Venezuela. You are less than an American, according to MAGA. And if 1,000 of them have to die to protect one American, they will do that. And one American who's dying to get who's begging for fucking drugs. Ugh. They do not care about you. They do not care about human beings. They're bad people.
That today, some people are marching on the street waving flags, and they're very in support. They have American flags being waved on the streets.
See, they have one American flag on the street. He saw one guy with an American flag on the street. That means it's okay to murder all of them. He saw one guy with an American flag. That means they totally, completely, 100% support all of the military things that we do there. All of the people that died today are acceptable because he saw an American flag. And you remember a very long time ago, he saw Muslims dancing on 9/11. You see, because he saw Muslims celebrating on 9/11, it's okay to go and murder them all. It's okay to kill all of the people in Afghanistan that you can. It's okay. We saw some Muslims dancing on 9/11, so it's okay to go and murder them all. You know, we saw one Somali. Well, we saw a few Somalis. But all he needs is one Somali defrauding the government in Minnesota. That means you get to kick them all out of the country and you get to hurt them. You see, he saw one murder by somebody from Honduras who walked across the southern border. That means you get to throw all the brown people out of the country, no matter what the rules are. He saw one crime, so he sent in the army. Baby brains. Donald Trump has a baby brain, and he talks to all the baby brain conservatives. They saw one guy commit a crime who was brown. Now all brown people are illegal. They saw one American flag in Caracas. Now it's okay for the American military to roll in there and own their country. They saw one Nazi in Ukraine. Ukraine had one small contingent of people who were National Socialists. And so it's okay for Russia to murder them all, the whole country, not just that one small contingent, all of Ukrainians, all of them. You know, one Palestinian puts on a suicide vest, and it's okay to murder all the Palestinians. This is conservative thought. I have been telling you for the past 2 minutes. That is conservative thought. Hopefully oil money goes back to Venezuela. It won't. Sorry, boss, it will not. We're going to keep it. I love that the murder shows that we're willing to, yeah, exactly. Let's.
We have more Nazis than Ukraine.
I know we do. America has more Nazis than Ukraine does. But those are Americans, and Americans are exceptional. Exceptionalism means that one Nazi in Ukraine means that Russia is allowed to bomb all of Ukraine. One Nazi in America, exception. This is what American exceptionalism means, is that he just misunderstood.
At Shinsinto, that's not difficult.
He's the exception, you see. We can't hold them responsible for that.
So, I mean, I think he's got very little support. Look, he was a dictator that the people hated. So I don't see a lot of that. I don't think we're going to see a lot of that.
Well,
he was no angel.
You, Mr. President, throw your support behind opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, who, as you recall, won the Nobel Peace Prize and then in turn dedicated it to you for your efforts in pressuring Maduro. Are you going to fully support her to take over to run the country?
Well, we're going to have to look at it. Right now, they have a vice president, as you know. I mean, I don't know about...
It wouldn't surprise me if that was the plan. The Nobel Prize winner was from Venezuela, the one who actually won. And then she talked a very nice game about Donald Trump. Maybe they put her in charge because she's a CIA plant, honestly. She's talking to the CIA right now about being in charge of their entire country. And the CIA wants her in charge because she will pave the way for those American oil companies to come into Venezuela and take out all the oil. And then she will get 2 of the pennies from every dollar they make. And that 3rd penny, she will promise to the Venezuelan people to build roads, to build schools, to high-speed internet, to benefit their lives. That is the game that we are playing right now. This is imperialism. This is the game we are playing. Destroy the old
At Shinsinto,
leader.
We probably have more Nazis than Ukraine has people.
Yeah. destroy the old leader, put in a new leader that lets you steal from the country and give them 1% of the profit. And that's what's going to happen, is whoever they put in is going to get 1% of the oil profit and keep some of it and then spend the rest on Venezuela. And that might actually convince some of the people in there to not riot, to not overrun them, because they benefit from that 1% of money coming in. Yeah, they might benefit from that.
What kind of an election that was, but the election of Maduro was a disgrace, just like my election was a disgrace. 2020 was a disgrace.
Christ almighty.
And, a real disgrace. Now, 2024 was too big to rig. But
I do not know if their election of Maduro was legitimate. I do not know. I'm not an expert on that subject. Maybe he was crooked. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he really did get elected properly. But Donald Trump doesn't believe any election result he doesn't like. If he doesn't like the result was wrong. The result was crooked. It was illegal. Again, I'll point to the chart, I suppose. Where's my chart? I've got the chart. There it is. It's always here. Does it benefit Trump? Yes. Then it's legal. Does it benefit Trump? No. Then it was illegal. Okay? Doesn't matter what the law says. It doesn't matter how many votes legitimately came in for Maduro. It does not benefit Trump. That makes it illegal. This chart works for the entire planet. You guys, you now have a law degree. I keep joking, but this is the law now. This is all there is. It doesn't matter what's written in any book from 1812. Fuck your face. Doesn't matter what the Supreme Court said last week. Does it benefit Trump? Yes. Then it's allowed. It's legal. If it does not benefit him, it is illegal. That's all our law is now.
But what he did was, his was open. I would say, frankly, you want to know the truth? I think Charlie would testify this. It wasn't a hell of a lot worse than what they did to us in 2020. It was our election was a disgrace in 2020, and everyone knows it. And now it's come out, and it's come out even in the legal form. But
no, it has not. No, it has not. It's come out in the legal form. No, it has not. Literally, no, it has not. Giant fucking lie. Right there on TV to millions of people waking up to watch the news. Giant fucking lie. And there's no way around it. There's no way to soft pedal that. That was a giant fucking lie.
Disgraceful. He had an election that was a rigged election. And the people have no love for him, that's for sure. He had very little loyalty, if any loyalty. He was a dictator who was a tough cookie, and he ran it tough. And the people can't believe they got so lucky.
The people can't believe they got so lucky. There you go. When social media shows you people suffering from this, he will go onto the TV and say, they got so lucky. They did it. Look at them. Look how lucky these people are that the Americans came in and removed their crooked president. It's unbelievable. And he will tell you that. And most of MAGA will believe it because they want to. They want to believe it.
How do you make up the fact that just hours before the airstrike, there was a Chinese delegation meeting with Nicolas Maduro, and we have yet to hear from China any sort of comment on the attacks?
Hopefully we didn't accidentally kill some Chinese
I know nothing
people.
about that, but I have a very good relationship with President Xi, and there's not going to be a problem. And they're going to get oil. We're going to allow people to have oil. But we can't take a chance after having done this incredible thing last night of letting somebody else take over, where we have to do it again. We can do it again, too. Nobody can stop us. There's nobody that has the capability that we have. When I watch that war in Russia going on and on and on, and everybody dying, and it's like it's primitive. It's primitive. It's horrible.
That's the Russian playbook, though. That's intentional on Russia's part. They don't want to do regime change. They don't want to go in there and sneak in and kidnap Zelensky and drag him out and replace him with somebody else who's nice to Russia. That is not their game. Their game is land war. They want to steal the land, so they fill it with immigrants, Russian people, who go across that border and start to live there. And then a few years later, they say, look at all the Russians that live in the, what's the name of that peninsula? Not Kharkiv, not Donbass, but the peninsula. They fill it with Russians. And then they say the Russians live there. That's Russian territory. And then they shell the shit out of it, killing everybody there. And then they take it. They want it to go on. Russia's strategy is to make it go on for a very long time. That's what they want. Donnie doesn't know that because he doesn't understand anything because he has a baby brain. Doesn't understand what Russia is doing or why. He does not understand what Venezuela was doing or why. He just wants what he wants, and he will hurt anybody that gets in his way. He wants that oil, and they were not going to give it to him. So he hurt them. That is it. That is all. There is no complicated yarn spinning to be done. The right-wing liars, the grifters, the Charlie Kirks, the not him anymore, I suppose, the Ben Shapiros, the Candace Owenses, the Fox News media people, they will go and make a complicated tapestry over the next few days. They've already started in the past few weeks talking about Venezuela, but they will go into create this complicated web and weave of threads. He's a bad guy. He's no angel. Here's all the terrible things he did. Here's all the people he hurt. Why it's okay. Why America actually does own all of Venezuela, because we helped them build some oil derricks or something in the 1970s. And then they'll tell you that they actually took it from us in 1970, and it's illegal that they did that, and we are just following the law here, and the law is, again, whatever Donald Trump wants it to be. And they will tell you this version of the law and why they are allowed to dodge Congress and dodge the House of Representatives and all that fun stuff. And you don't have to go through Congress. You don't have to go through the Senate to get these stuff, because it doesn't benefit Trump, you see. And that will happen over the next few weeks. Watch as that happens, as we see all the right-wing grifters lie to you about what's real.
Could you tell us, Mr. President, a little bit more, because you're talking about the precision of this operation and the brave men and women. Was this Delta Force guys? Were this Navy SEALs? Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, they're the most highly trained soldiers in the world. There's nobody that has their talent, because it's talent. It's not just bravery. It's bravery. You have to have the bravery, but it's talent. Nobody has talent like this, and nobody has equipment like we have.
If someone else had the equipment that we had, we would bomb them. We would kill them. If we thought they had a military that could rival ours, we would kill them.
I mean, everything was pinpoint. They had everything. They practiced. They actually built a house which was identical to the one they went into, with all the safes and all the steel all over the place, and, at the top of stairways and room.
They built a mock presidential suite. The American military, knew what the president of Venezuela's suite looked like. They did intel work. They did satellite photos. They did spy work. They did spycraft to find out what the president of Venezuela's house looked like. That takes months. Then they built a copy of it somewhere, I assume in America, on a military base somewhere. And they didn't just build it out of wood and drywall real quick over the weekend. They built an exact replica, which takes months. And then they practiced inside that mock presidential suite. They found out exactly what to do and where to go. Because looking at a map and then thinking, hey, we'll turn left here, then we'll turn right there, and then we'll break down this door, and then we'll go 2 doors down, and then we'll go left. That's great. But what works better than that is literally doing it, so that you have the muscle memory backed up, so that you have you don't get confused in case you run into something new. That takes months of work. He could have gone to Congress in that time. He could have gone to them to explain this, and they would have kept it secret. Maybe some of the Dems would have bitched about it, and he could have gotten their authorization, but he chose not to. He never intended to go to Congress about this, and he will lie. He will look into a camera today, if he hasn't already, and tell you that it was an emergency and it needed to be done right now. He did not have time for Congress. He did not have time to get this thing passed through the House and through the Senate. He did not have the time. It was too emergent. But he had time to build a house. He had time to practice inside that house, and he had time for the spycraft to find out what that house looked like. Criminal lies, constant lies, never-ending lies.
It was Delta Force, sir?
I don't want to say, but I will say this. I'm having a
He
news
said he
conference
couldn't
in just a
tell
little
Congress
while,
because they might
so
leak
I'm going to
it.
have to get off this line pretty soon, but I'm having a news conference at 11, and we're going to be talking about it. And I will say that...
and they should leak it. That's their fucking job. They represent the American people. If the president comes to Congress and says, hey, I'm going to do something crazy, they should immediately go and tell the people, hey, the president's going to do something crazy. What do you human beings who we represent think about that? That's what it's supposed to happen. That's why they're supposed to vote for that shit. That's why you're supposed to go through the Congress. They need to impeach him now. God damn it. Now. Fucking should have done it a goddamn year ago, but we need to do it now.
Transparency? Question mark?
Yeah, transparency. He is the most transparent president because I can see right through him. He did this for oil because he wants money.
I'm very proud to be an American.
As are we, Mr. President. Will we be hearing from Secretary of War Pete Hegseth about what went into the planning and the execution of this incredible operation?
Yes, and General Kane and some other people, they'll be telling you things that we can't tell you. We're not going to say everything because we have things that nobody even knows about.
Transparency corrupt.
And we don't want to talk about that, and there's no reason to.
Obviously corrupt. Blatantly corrupt. Everyone can see it. Everyone can see the corruption. Everyone can see the lies.
Venezuela doesn't go bad again. It went bad. You know, it was a great country 20 years ago. And now it's...
It was a great country 20 years ago. In 2006, was it a great country? He also complains that they stole the oil from us in the 1970s. So in the 1970s, they were a bad country who stole our oil. But in 20 years ago, in 2006, they were a good country. But today, they have to be bombed. This is a thing that old people often have to deal with, is when they say 20 years ago, they mean the 1970s. When I say 20 years ago, I mean the 1980s because I'm old. And then you're like, hey, Waldo, dipshit, the 80s were 50 fucking years ago. And I'm like, fuck, shit, yeah, you're right. It's not 20 years ago because I'm a millennium, 2000. That's a big round number. So something that happened 20 years ago was obviously the 1980s for me in my stupid old man brain. But then I recognize my mistake and I correct myself. So when he says 20 years ago, he means probably the 60s. He probably means the 70s. That's probably what he means because he was the 90s guy. But again, I'm just guessing at what he means by 20 years ago.
Horrible. Remember I used to say that if they get elected, the other side, the people that we're talking about, if they get elected in our country, it will be Venezuela on steroids. Do you remember that?
I remember you saying that, and I remember it being gibberish nonsense back then. On the campaign trail, he said, if Kamala wins, it will be Venezuela on steroids. And his fans clapped and cheered. And I said, what the fuck does that mean? That's gibberish. That doesn't mean anything. Will we be Venezuela? Will we be the corrupt government? Will Venezuela be on steroids and get... It doesn't mean anything. It's nonsense. But again, his team loves short, pithy, wrong phrases. See, Venezuela on steroids doesn't mean anything. It's a nonsense statement.
That I used to say that all the time, Charlie, right?
Indeed.
We would have been Venezuela on steroids, meaning we would have been a bigger version of Venezuela.
Mean anything.
But the end result, we would have been
that
a failed
nonsense.
nation. Had they gotten elected, we would have been a failed nation. So I'll get ready for a news conference.
Venezuela isn't a failed nation. They are a nation. You just disagree with them. They aren't a failed nation right now. I mean, they weren't until yesterday, I suppose. They might fail in the future, but they were not already.
And, real quickly before we let you go, though, can you tell us where Maduro and his wife are right this second?
Well, they'll be heading to New York. You know, they were indicted in New York, and also.
So are they taken to a ship first, and then?
Yes, the Iwo Jima. They're on a ship, but they'll be heading into New York. The helicopters took them out. They went by helicopter in a nice flight. I'm sure they loved it. But they've killed a lot of people. Remember that. They killed a lot of people. And
a lot of Americans.
Even people in their own country. They killed a lot of people to maintain power. He's a very vicious...
I do not know if that's true. Maybe it's true. I don't know. Seems unlikely. I do not know.
Person.
Well, President Trump, I'm incredibly grateful to you for coming on this morning. Thank you very much. And thank you for your time. I know that you've got a lot on your plate these days, but we're very appreciative.
So we're going to close that one, and then we're going to read what Mehdi Hassan has to say. Very smart guy. If you're watching, if you're paying attention, hop to chat, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. The lovely robot lady will read it out loud unless you put a little hashtag there. She won't read it out loud at that point, so you don't disrupt whatever flow, whatever screaming that I'm doing, ranting at the moment. So I love that you guys are doing that. That's so nice of you. And then when you have a good zinger, if you have a good joke, you got something really good, important, you don't put the hashtag, and then the lovely robot lady reads it out loud. So you can do that if you go on over to the Twitch. Press the follow button, press the subscribe button, press all the buttons, go to YouTube and press any button. It doesn't matter what button you push. It will benefit me on the on the algorithm. The algorithm is based on hatred. So if you go into YouTube and you hate something, anything, it benefits me. If you go into my chat and hate me, that benefits me. If you go into my chat and hate Trump, that benefits me. If you go into my chat and hate the Ghostbusters, that benefits me somehow. Just does. Because the YouTube algorithm is powered by hatred. So go on over there. If you press the thumbs down, that actually benefits me. It really does. Like, that shows engagement. It doesn't do what they think it does. Most people don't know that about the YouTube algorithm. Even if you press the thumbs down, that says, hey, people are watching you and paying attention, you know, and they pay enough attention to press the thumbs down button. So they show me to more people. Because of the YouTube algorithm is powered by hatred. So let's read what Mr. Mehdi Hassan has to say. He's a very smart guy. He says very smart things. And then he writes stuff. And he's very good. Trump's Venezuela attack, it's all about the oil. Hey, that's what Waldo said. Here are the 5 times Donald Trump himself admitted that illegally attacking Venezuela to toppling Nicolas Maduro is aimed at seizing the country's massive oil reserves. Let's see. Trump didn't attack Venezuela because it produces fentanyl. It doesn't. He didn't attack Venezuela because Maduro controls the Tren de Aragua gang. He doesn't. He didn't attack Venezuela because Maduro is the head of the Cartel de los Soles. It doesn't even exist. It's about oil. Don't believe me? Think it's a little conspiratorial? Return the oil. Here's number 1. Return the oil. Wait, can I watch this? Oh, I can't watch anymore. Gah, subscriptions. Blah. Well, here's the thing. Donald Trump, the self-declared peace president, is a serial liar who also likes to say that the quiet part out loud from time to time. In 2003, George W. Bush and Dick Cheney at least pretended their illegal invasion of Iraq and toppling Saddam Hussein wasn't about Iraq's oil. It was about democracy and WMDs and Al-Qaeda. Donald Trump, weirdly, shamelessly, and luckily for us, has been brutally honest on the subject of Venezuela and his motivation for regime change in Caracas. Here's his own words: return the oil. What he talking about there was the 1970s when he said that we built their infrastructure. During the 70s, American oil companies went to Venezuela, said, hey, there's a lot of oil here. Let's put together a plan where we come in here, we build this stuff, and then we sell the oil to the world, and then you get some of the profit. And the Venezuelan people at the time said, yeah, great. They built that up. And then the Venezuelan people said, wait, you're keeping most of the profit? No, this is ours. We're going to keep the profit. All of it. And then kicked those companies out. Now, this happened during Jimmy Carter, and they cannot give it up. Donald Trump remembers it happening and thinks that that is a weakness on the Democrat side, as they didn't go to war immediately. He wanted this to happen immediately back in the 70s to keep that oil for America and American profit, because that's what matters to him. News about Venezuela, just read right now. Trump said that he wants to take the lead in Venezuela and a new government can be formed. So congrats on their 51st day. Yeah, we're going to watch that next bit too. So that's the next thing we're going to do. I thought we'd read about these times he said it was about the oil, but he did 5 times talk about when it was all about the oil. So smart people are saying this is all about the oil. Let's listen to what they actually say right now. I'm going to put this on 1.525 speed too, so that we can get through it. At least I think this is running. Are you working? There we go. Why is there no audio? The hell is this? Okay.
Late last night.
This is all busted. I gotta F5 it. Hang on. Stick with me. We're gonna watch. Okay, here we go. Bam. Came in. This is on their side.
You being here.
Okay.
Late last night and early today.
I guess there is a helicopter in the background and they wanted to cut the loud noise out of the video.
Oh, maybe.
The United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II.
Everything is the best. Everything is the greatest.
It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas
military fortress. It's the president. That's where the president lives. Fucking
Maduro
idiot.
to justice.
Christ
This
almighty.
was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones, like the attack on Soleimani,
Christ almighty,
the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites
None
Just
of that
recently,
really happened as well as he says.
in an
it does.
operation known as Midnight Hammer.
Bragging about the
All
past.
perfectly
Get to the news.
executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly,
on
in
Fox News?
just a short period
I
of
haven't
time.
watched this yet, so I don't know
Gonna
what
have
it
to
says.
speed it up
All
more.
Venezuelan
His
military
brain is melting so badly he
capacities were
still
rendered
sounds slow.
powerless as
I know.
the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have.
We cut their
was
power.
dark,
Everybody knows
and it
that.
was
That's
deadly.
normal war shit. He just
Was
doesn't
captured
know.
along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York, it's Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an
Yeah, it was already at
extraordinary success
125 for
overnight,
the fact. We're at
with
1.5
breathtaking
now.
speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well.
Yeah.
They were an embarrassment. If you look back
Put
to
it back to
Afghanistan,
normal.
or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days, they were different days. We're a respected country again, like never before.
It's
These highly
that's why
trained
people don't
warriors
listen to it.
operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement.
Nobody
Caught
actually
them
listens
in
to
a
it.
very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many
They
ships
get
out
the clips.
in the sea. We were just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming, so they were in a ready, what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night,
I
you would have
watched
been very
this
impressed. I'm
live
not
and
sure
he
that you'll ever get
literally
to see
sounds
it, but
dead.
it was an
Bro
incredible thing
went
to see.
full Biden.
I know.
Not a single American service
Biden
member was
flubbed
killed,
one
and not a single piece of American equipment was lost.
debate, and we replaced his ass.
Many people
This motherfucker's
involved
been
in
like
that
this for
fight.
years.
But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service member was more importantly killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far. With capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have. And you see that even if you just look at the boats. You know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each
Made up
boat kills 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%.
Nonsense.
And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So
We are going to run the country. We are going to run the country. Do the country's citizens have a say in that? Do they get a choice? No? Fuck them. Because conservatives think every Venezuelan is a member of the drug gang. There are no innocent people in Venezuela, according to conservatives.
we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to.
Did the American people vote for that? Did the American fucking Senate say that that was okay? Does the Constitution of America give the President of the United States that kind of power? No, it does not. But it doesn't fucking matter. He is the emperor, and no one will stop him.
To be judicious, because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela.
Fucking unbelievable. Peace just for them. So we're going to fucking tell them what their lives are going to be like. We will be in charge, and we will tell them how to live their lives. We will determine what their government is, and it will be justice for them.
Congressional approval is for nerds.
Yeah.
And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have.
Because that's all that fucking matters. Money, 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 money. They could have been making more money for us, but they weren't making enough money for us, so we killed them.
Taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
For our country, for our companies will go in there and take all the profitable stuff and keep most of that profit.
And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And
no, it will not. It will not. That is a giant fucking lie. It will not make them rich. The oil companies will get rich, and some of it might trickle down to the to the Venezuelan people. It will not make them safe. They will all be forced into working for these companies if they're lucky. If they're lucky, they get a job with ConocoPhillips or Exxon or some shit. If they're not lucky, Americans come in and do that work. American people or the companies hire other cheaper laborers to come in and do the labor and force immigration into there. Could you imagine that? Setting up visas for, I don't know, fourth world people to come into Venezuela and do all the work while the Venezuelans do not get those jobs. It's entirely possible. If the Venezuelans want $10 an hour and there's a Bangladeshi willing to do the work for $9 an hour, the company will do the work to get the visas, to get the Bangladeshi person brought over to Venezuela to do that work for $9 an hour until the job doesn't need to be done anymore, and then they will leave, and all of the wealth and the natural resources of Venezuela will be gone. And why are we doing this? Because the president doesn't like the way they were using their natural resources. They could have been pumping more. And they weren't. They could have been pumping more, and they weren't. That is what upsets Donald Trump. You could be making more money, but for some reason you're not. Fucking gross. He's disgusted by this idea that they could be pumping lots and lots of oil, but they chose not to. Probably for a conservative reason. They want to conserve it for later. Fuck that. You need to make as much as possible right fucking now. What kind of disgusting, degenerate monster doesn't do the short-term gain for maximum short... What kind of disgusting monster doesn't prepare for maximum short-term gains? Short-term gains. It's ridiculous. He doesn't like the way they were doing their natural resources, so we bombed them and kidnapped their president. Fucking insane.
It will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore.
Well, Nad Bash, we'll talk about the future stuff here as soon as this little bit is over.
Legitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison, responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, many, many Americans. Hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship. They'll be heading to, ultimately, New York, and then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida. But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela,
the might of justice.
Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. And you
How?
Also, in addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over in particular the United States, Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide.
No,
and he did that. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes.
No, they did not.
They cut the fingers off people if they called police. They were brutal, but they're not so brutal now. And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete, and everybody, and our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, frankly. Fine. And now we have no crime in Washington, D.C.
already.
We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few
A couple of people do a crime, send in the military. That's what I'm telling you. He has a baby brain.
Weeks ago, a little bit of a different kind of a threat, but we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have 2, on average 2 a week in Washington, our capital. We don't have that anymore. The restaurant.
Last month he told us there was no murders in D.C. None. He's lying. Yeah, there were. But he said that there were none.
They're opening. Everyone's happy. They're going. They're walking their daughters. They're walking their children, their wives. They walk to restaurants. Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C. So I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank our military. And I want to thank law enforcement. It's been amazing. And they should do it with more
6
cities.
to 7, I'm so sorry.
We're doing it in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and crime is down. It sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%. And the governor of Louisiana called, great person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of Louisiana, and we have done that. And it was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans,
well, if you don't count and you make up the numbers, it can be whatever you want.
2.5 weeks.
Can't imagine the amazing thing about it is he can just make up all the numbers.
Helped, as you know, in Chicago, then crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster. But
can you please talk about the news? We bombed a country. Can you quit pissing and moaning about the people who didn't want you in their fucking city?
It knocked down crime, but we're pulling out of there when they need us. We'll know. You'll know. You'll be writing about it. No, and likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on.
Saved Los Angeles. It was terrible, and then finally, he went in there and they made it great again. Made Los Angeles great again. Fucking Christ Almighty! This man lives on a different fucking planet, and it's the people behind him that are part of the problem. The people behind him tell him what he wants to hear. So he is half the problem. They are the other half. He is a lunatic who cannot be swayed from his first initial opinions. But the people around him make sure that he has the correct first opinion that they prefer him to have.
The head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. That's long after the fires.
Los Angeles. It would simply be gone. Wiped off the map. Ceased to exist. If he had not sent a small amount of troops there to do literally fucking nothing.
They had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But we'll be pulling out when they need us. They'll call, or we'll go back if we have to. We'll go back. But we did a great job in
Not
various
only
cities.
he. I for myself guess since Corona that I live on another planet than 20 years
before. Being a crime-ridden mess to being one of the safest cities in the country. But the gangs that they sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned. Tren de Aragua. And they were sent by Maduro to terrorize our people. And now Maduro will...
No, they weren't. No evidence of that.
Never again be able to threaten an American citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats. For years, I've highlighted the stories of those innocent Americans whose lives...
I'm not saying that Tren de Aragua doesn't exist, but connecting them to their president is fucking insane. Imagine... international law cannot function this way. One person in Russia did a bad thing, so we have to now kidnap their president. One Somali did a fraud in Minnesota, so we now need to kidnap their president. International law cannot function if this is how it's supposed to function. If he's in charge, it's insane, and it won't. Societal collapse, entire planet societal collapse.
We're so heartlessly robbed by this Venezuelan terrorist organization. Really one of the worst. One of the worst. They say the worst. Americans like 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungary from Houston. Beautiful Jocelyn.
See, this is the crime.
Nungary, what happened to her?
One person did a crime, so we have to kill their entire country.
As you know, they kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered by Tren de Aragua animals. They murdered Jocelyn. And
so we get to murder all of them?
Under the bridge. There was a bridge.
Conservative thought is
never be the same to so many people after
shit.
seeing what happened. As I've said many times, the Maduro regime emptied out their prisons, sent their worst and most violent monsters into the United States. No evidence that this has ever happened. To steal American lives. And they came from mental institutions and insane asylums.
No evidence that ever happened.
Prisons and jails.
Never happened.
I say both, they sound similar. Actually, prisons, a little bit more hostile, a little bit tougher. A mental institution isn't as tough as an insane asylum, but we got them both. They sent from their mental institutions. They sent from their jails, prisons. They were drug dealers. They were drug kingpins. They sent everybody bad into the United States. But
Nonsense.
No longer. And we have now a border
such a
where
baby
nobody
brain.
gets through. In addition, Venezuela unilaterally seized and stole American oil, American assets, and American platforms, costing us billions and billions of dollars.
He's talking about the 70s when the companies came in and tried to build these things up so that those companies could make a profit. And then they said, no, get out of here, companies. This is ours. Is that wrong? Is that rude? Yes. You invite an American company to come in, they build the stuff for you, and then you kick them out. If you paid them back, I'd be fine with it. Or if they reneged on a deal or something like that, then you should do some sort of stuff. But the company, they realized, why did they do that? Because they realized the American company was going to take most of the profit. They sold them promises, said, oh, you're going to be rich. You guys are going to get so much money out of this. And then they looked at the deal, they looked at the numbers, and they said the company's going to get most of it. Venezuela. That's right. Did I say that? Sounds like something I would do.
This was a while ago, but we never had a president that did anything about it. They took all of our property. It was our property. We built it. And
on their land, with the idea that we would share the profits, and the companies probably went back on that deal and wanted to keep all of it. Oh, he said Venezuela? Okay.
We never had a president that decided to do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away. We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill, and the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations, and they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest theft of property in the history of our country. Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, and we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it.
You would have bombed.
America will never allow foreign powers to rob our people or drive us back into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did. Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign adversaries in our region and acquiring menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. Potentially in league with the cartels.
Because we invaded them. Don, you invaded them illegally. You did an invasion. Yes, they used their weapons on you. Did you think that they wouldn't? Are you fucking stupid?
Operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries. And
the core principles of American democracy, foreign diplomacy, is whatever the fuck he wants it to be.
Not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines.
He doesn't know what that is, and he says whatever the fuck he wants it to say. And if you ever ask a conservative what it is, they'll just tell you that Trump is right about whatever he said about it. Doesn't matter if it's factually wrong.
Doctrine is a big deal, but we've superseded it by a lot.
He doesn't know what it is.
By a real lot.
He doesn't know what it means.
They now call it the Monroe Document. I don't know. It's Monroe Doctrine. We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen. So just in concluding, for decades, other administrations have neglected or even contributed to these growing security threats in the Western Hemisphere. Under the Trump administration, we are reasserting American power in a very powerful way.
Venezuela was not a security threat in any way, shape, or form. None. Zero. Nada. Nothing. He's lying.
In our home region. And our home region is very different than it was just a short while ago. The future will be, and we did this in my first term. We had great dominance in my first term, and we have far greater dominance right now. Everyone's coming back to us. The future will be determined by the ability to protect commerce and territory and resources that are core to national security. These are core.
Everything is national security. Everything. Venezuela didn't sell their oil in the way that he would prefer. That's a national security threat. Venezuela sends some drug boats. Some people from Venezuela choose to make drugs and then drive them in a boat towards America. That's a national security problem. The economy is a national security problem. The words that Waldo says into a microphone are a national security problem. The Twitter videos that the people in Venezuela are putting up right now are a national security issue. That allows him to bomb anybody he wants and hurt anyone he wants. By just saying it's a national security issue, he gets to do whatever he wants. He gets to ignore the Constitution. He gets to skip the Congress. He gets to skip the Senate. He gets to do whatever the fuck he wants. If he says it's a national security issue, it's like calling everyone a terrorist. You just get to bomb anybody you want. They're full of terrorists. They're a national security issue. Bomb them. Who cares?
Or to our national security. Just like tariffs are, they made our country rich, and they've made our national security stronger than ever before.
Tariffs are a tax. So if our country got rich because it taxed its citizens.
National security. You know. I national security. You national security. He IT national security.
Everyone is national security.
But these are the iron laws that have always determined global power. And we're going to keep it that way. We will secure our borders. We will stop the terrorists. We will crash the cartels, and we will defend our citizens against all threats, foreign and domestic. Other presidents may have lacked the courage or whatever to defend America.
They didn't want to kill innocent people in another country for fucking money, Donnie.
Yeah. But I will never allow terrorists and criminals to operate with impunity against the United States. This extremely successful operation should serve as warning to anyone who would threaten American sovereignty or endanger American lives. Very importantly, the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in full effect. The American Armada remains poised in position, and the United States retains all military options until United States demands have been fully met and fully satisfied. All political and military figures in Venezuela should understand what happened to Maduro can happen to them, and it will happen to them if they aren't just, fair, even to their people.
Just fair and even to their people. No, motherfucker, you going to bomb fucking Russia because of this? No. Russia's bad towards their people. You don't give a shit.
Dictator and terrorist Maduro is finally gone in Venezuela. People are free. They're free again. It's been a long time for them, but they're free. America is a safer nation this morning. It's a prouder nation this morning because it didn't allow this horrible person and this country that was doing very bad things to us. It didn't allow it to happen. And the Western Hemisphere is right now a much safer place to be. So I want to thank everyone.
I don't think it is. It's not safer. We have intentionally bombed somebody for no goddamn reason, for money. And everyone else is terrified they're going to be next. Greenland's terrified they're going to be next. Canada's terrified they're going to be next. Ecuador's terrified they're going to be next. Mexico's terrified they're going to be next. Cuba, as Killer Mac has pointed out, is terrified they're going to be next. And that will make them more violent. That will make them more angry, more antsy, more willing to attack us first.
Everybody for being here.
I can't stand listening to the festering shit that gets extruded through this senile, pedophile grease golem's infected asshole of a mouth.
I know. That's why he's at 1.5 speed, so we can get done sooner.
President Kane is fantastic. Man, I've worked with a lot of generals. I worked with some I didn't like. I worked with some I didn't respect. I worked with some that just weren't good. But this guy is fantastic. I watched last night one of the most precise attacks on sovereignty. I mean, it was an attack for justice.
An attack for justice, baby. An attack for justice. Get that shit on a bumper sticker, baby. We attack for justice. Oh, God, that's some good fascism, isn't it? We attacked for justice, you see. We murdered for righteousness. We were just extending the reach of the fatherland. You know, it's fine.
Duck speak.
Well, duck speak, maybe. Well, duck speak usually suggests that you don't know what you're saying. But this is bravado. This is over bravado. This is heroicism. Heroicism. It's a word. Look it up. This is overly heroic. He's attacking for justice, baby. This is this ministry of truth kind of area. Like we've always been at war with Eurasia. We've always been at war with East Asia. It's making things more proud and more powerful than it really has to be. He did a crime, and he calls it an attack for justice.
Very proud of him, and I'm very proud of our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who I'm going to ask to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to bring it back down to 120 regular speed. Maybe he doesn't talk so fast.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Finally, a commander-in-chief the world respects and the American people deserve. And as the president said, words can barely capture the bravery and the power and the precision of this historic operation. A massive joint military and law enforcement raid flawlessly executed.
Law enforcement raid. You see how he did that? He said law enforcement raid, which needed the Marines and the bombs and the missiles and the helicopters and the weapons of warfare. So when people try to protest this thing happening, they'll need to do another law enforcement raid, which will include the use of military weapons against American people. American people, the military equipment is about to be used against you. It's coming, and they'll call it law enforcement. This is frog boiling in the pot water, the rhetoric. This is how it works. You do a war, you call it a police action, and then when the police come after the people who are unhappy with Donald Trump, they will use the weapons of war against them.
By the greatest Americans our country has to offer. American warriors are second to none, the best in the world and the best of our country.
I know it's an old joke, but the conservatives love the military the way Michael Vick loves dogs. Okay? I know it's an old joke. He got in trouble with the law 20 fucking years ago for dog fighting. But that's the way the conservatives, this man sees the troops. He sees them as attack dogs to fight and die for him.
What all of us witnessed last night was sheer guts and grit, gallantry, and glory of the American warrior. I'm simply humbled by such men. And I tip my hat to our chairman, Dan Raisin Kane, and all those Americans who stood watch last night. Our warriors are the elite of America, and again, President Trump has your back.
We have the best attack
No other
dogs.
country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off. And no other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve. The most powerful combination the world has ever seen. As the president said, our adversaries remain on notice. America can project our will anywhere, anytime. The coordination...
We can project our will on anywhere in the globe at any time. Motherfucker, that's not good. That is unpleasant. I don't want Donald Trump...
Great use of tax dollars.
I know. I don't want Donald Trump imposing his will anywhere on the globe at any time. That's fucking military dictatorship. That is murdering people to get his way. That sounds like fucking terrorism. Donald Trump doesn't like your politics. He will bomb the shit out of you. How is that any different than a fucking Afghani wearing a suicide vest? It's not. We just have better vests.
The stealth, the lethality, the precision, the very long arm of American justice, all on full display in the middle of the night. Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance.
No, you give them fucking ultimatums. That's not a chance. If you take all their choices away, they don't have a choice. Be exploited by American oil companies or we will bomb you. And he chose bomb you.
Until they didn't and until he didn't. He effed around and he found out. President Trump is deadly serious about stopping the flow of gangs and violence to our country. Deadly serious about stopping the flow of drugs and poison.
It's not about drugs, it's about oil. They've said it several times.
Not just Trump,
serious
but you.
about getting back the oil
Should
that was
NT be in any foreign conflicts unless we get attacked domestically or something crazy?
Well, Medicolis, that's what normal people think. These are not normal people. These are bad people. These are the fucking bad guys. Like, literally, it's that simple. I know it sounds simplistic to say Orange Man bad, but it is literally fucking correct. Orange Man is bad, in fact. All the evidence suggests that Orange Man is bad. And the people who support him like it because he's bad. They want him to be bad. They want him to hurt people. They want him to bomb all the people, conservative people.
Yeah, I know he is bad, but not just them.
I know, not just him, but he is surrounded by people who want him to hurt people. The conservative mindset says, we paid all this money for all these guns. You need to shoot them at the bad guys. Find a bad guy.
I am a two-time Bernie Sanders voter.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's cool. I am too. I love Bernie. Let's keep watching, though. Let's see what he has to say.
Stolen from us and deadly serious about reestablishing American deterrence and dominance in the Western Hemisphere. This is about the safety, security, freedom, and prosperity of the American people.
No, it is not. It is about oil profit. Profit, 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 profit. Money, 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 money. SpongeBob. SpongeBob is all about the money, my boy. It's all about the money. Money, 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 money. Those oil companies want that oil. Donald wants the tax revenue from those oil companies, and they are going to pay for it. They're going to pay him. And then the price of oil, the price of gas comes down, and then he gets to win the next election because he brought it down by 12 cents. Last election, I voted for Trump because it felt like I lost hope, so it was more of a flu symptoms. Though, okay, that as long as you apologize for it.
This is America first. This is peace through strength, and the United States War
This is violence for money.
Department is proud to help deliver it. Welcome to 2026, and under President Trump, America is back.
Back in the imperialism game. What is imperialism? Although you've been saying it all day. Imperialism is a policy or practice where the country extends its power and influence over other territories, often through direct territorial conquest, military force, or economic and political control, aiming to establish dominance. They said dominance. They said the word dominance like 10 fucking times during this little thing. Exploit resources and create an empire. Exploit resources. We are doing imperialism. That is what we're doing. Hi, Malachi. Thanks for coming in. How's the imperialism taste today? It's literally what we're doing. We're extending our power through military to make more money. And I don't like that. I don't want my government to do that.
I'd like to welcome now
what is
our
imperialism? You have an European viewer, you know?
What is imperialism? Well, I just described it, yeah.
Kane, to give a few more details about the operation, Mr. Chairman.
Not apologizing for using my right to vote, but this is a lost cause before Trump got there.
Yeah, and and I accept the idea that you voted for him. That's fine. If you feel bad about it now, you can change. We can all be better tomorrow. I love that. Yeah, it's great news to wake up to on a Saturday morning.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning. Last night, on the order of the President of the United States and in support of a request from the Department of Justice, as the President said, the United States military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice two indicted persons, Nicolas and Cecilia Maduro. This operation, known as Operation Absolute Resolve, was discreet, precise, and conducted during the darkest hours of January 2nd and was the culmination of months of planning and rehearsal, an operation that frankly...
Months of planning and rehearsal. So they admit it. They knew this going in months ago. They could have gotten congressional people on board. Congress could have been roped in and brought into this, and they could have been representative of the American people, but they weren't, because they don't respect you with the American people. They do not respect you or your words or your representation. Donnie is an emperor in charge of the empire, and he will do whatever the fuck he wants. And if Congress says no, fuck the Congress, dissolve the Congress. If the Senate says no, fuck the Senate, dissolve the Senate. The people do not need representation. They have the God Emperor to tell them what to do.
Only the United States military could undertake. What I'd like to do this morning is talk to you through some of the preparation and the details without compromising any of our tactics, techniques, and procedures. There is always a chance that we'll be tasked to do this type of mission again. Our interagency work began months ago and built on decades of experience of integrating complex air, ground, space, and maritime operations. While the past 2 decades have honed the skills of our special operations forces, this particular mission required every component of our joint force, with soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians working in unison with our intelligence agency partners and law enforcement teammates in an unprecedented operation. We leveraged our unmatched intelligence to express my heartfelt gratitude to the brave men and women who executed this mission. Their courage and tireless commitment to our nation are what makes us strong. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and thank you, Mr. President.
So Marco Rubio's up next. He's a politician. Let's listen to the politicians.
Well, I don't have much to add to what you've heard now, other than the following points. Nicolas Maduro was indicted in 2020 in the United States. He is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. That's not just us saying it. The first Trump administration, the Biden administration, the second Trump administration, none of those three recognized him. He's not recognized by the European Union and multiple countries around the world. He is a fugitive of American justice with a $50 million reward, which I guess we saved $50 million. And
make sure.
Yeah, exactly. But
don't let anybody claim it. Nobody deserves it but us.
But I want to be clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play around.
Those offers would have been, give us all your oil and we will give you pennies. He chose not to do that.
And the result is what we saw tonight. The other message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members. How do you feel about Gaddafi? Is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration.
I don't know enough about him, but it seems like a really bad guy. I'm not happy the way the Americans treated him, but let's stick to this topic. We can talk about that later.
Administration basically likes to play games all this time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when tells you he's going to address a problem,
when he tells you he's going to murder a country,
he actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this. We're going to take. This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out.
Might be on
and
a
now,
list
if you
somewhere.
don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, you know, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. And this is something that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States. And the president.
You know what else he said? That he is going to run for a third term. He has said that. So does he mean it? Is he going to do that? He has said lots of crimes out loud. He said a lot of things that would be illegal or unconstitutional. Does he mean those? I think he does. Marco Rubio is not saying anything that surprises me here. It's just that when he says it, he means it. When Donald Trump tells you what he thinks, believe him. He's not joking. He's not kidding around. When he says he wants to be in charge of America forever, he means it.
The president addressed it. There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This
president of peace. I can't get over it, man. Directly from the Ministry of Truth and the Department of Love comes the president of peace.
This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now, very happy, but instead he wanted to play big boy. And so now, you know, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think that the message here should be
had a
for
chance
the world.
to do exactly what Donald Trump
doesn't
told
go out
him,
looking for
or he
people
can
to pick
get
fights
shot
with.
at.
He's not.
That's it.
Generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll
We
talk
call
and
that
meet
peace
with anybody
in America.
But don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
Is that a message for Cuba, Mr. President?
Little Marco.
Little Marco.
Please. Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but that's going to be paid. And
he has no idea who's going to run it. He has no idea.
We're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have.
Why is he talking so fast?
Oh, because I speed him up to 125, because he talks slow. He talks too slow for me. I have shit to do. So I bump him up to 125 so it doesn't get dragged down the stream.
People of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure the people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
I see. I was like, I have never seen I talk that fast.
Yeah. I do that on purpose.
Troops will be on the ground. How will that work?
Well, you know, they always say boots on the ground. Oh, so we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually.
He doesn't know why boots on the ground is a bad thing. He doesn't know why boots on the ground is considered a bad thing. Because it's an invasion, first of all. Second, as they stand on the ground, people can shoot at them.
At a very high level.
I know, a very high level. If there are American troops on the ground, they become a target. It's harder to target American ships 7 miles off your coast. It's very difficult.
Thank you for following Medicolis.
Medicolis, you just turned a freaking frog gay. I'm proud of you. I'm so happy that you just turned a frog gay.
Boots on the ground only is good if it comes to a moon landing without military.
Yeah, boots on the moon are great. But those people, those soldiers, those are human beings. Those are American citizens on the ground to be shot at.
Alex, my hero.
To be bombed at, to have suicide bombers running towards them. That is why boots on the ground is dangerous. If you've got a helicopter base outside of the country and they fly in and they do a thing and then they jump back out, you are less at risk. He wants the boots on the ground because he's a baby brain and he doesn't know that risk. He doesn't know the risk involved because he is not smart. He is very dumb. He does not know why boots
to
on the
show
ground
force.
is a phrase. Yeah, he wants it to show force because he thinks that's awesome. But he does not recognize the difficulty, the risk that he's running. He increases that risk without knowing it because he's stupid. So the people on the ground could get shot at, could get bombed, could get attacked by the citizens of that country. And he does not know it. What happens when they get attacked? We have to attack back. We have to attack again. And then he comes on TV and says, the people of Venezuela, all of the people of Venezuela have to suffer because one person in Venezuela chose to shoot at our troops and he shot a troop, and now all of Venezuela has to suffer. They have to be taught you can't shoot at American troops. If you do, you get shot 1,000 times over and innocent people will die. He does not know any of this because he is dumb.
We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it. But
he's not afraid of it because he is too stupid to know the repercussions. He's too stupid to know the risk that he's running.
We're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly. Could have gone very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot. And we're going to make sure that this is proper.
But that would mean more money for the
now.
defense contractors.
We're ready to go again if we have to. We're going to run the country right. It's going to be run very judiciously, very fairly.
You can't run this country right, motherfucker. Christ almighty. We're going to run their country right. You can't run ours right. And he speaks this language, kind of.
It's going to make a lot of money. We're going to give money to the people. We're going to reimburse people.
No, you're not. No, you're fucking not. The oil companies are going to give money to the people? Fuck your face. Have you ever met an oil executive? They keep all that money themselves. They're not billionaires because they gave money to the people. They're billionaires because they took money and kept it. They sold the things from the ground for their own profit and kept it.
People that were taken advantage of, we're going to take care of everybody. It's very important. We couldn't let them get away with it. You know, they stole our oil. We built that whole industry there. And they just took it over like we were nothing. And we had a president that decided not to do anything about it. So we did something about it. We're late, but we did something about it. Yeah, please.
Mechanism by which you're going to run the country? Are you going to designate a U.S. official to coordinate?
Yes, it's all being done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to people. We're designating various people, and we're going to let you know who those people are.
He doesn't know. He's not making that decision. His team back there will choose whoever's the nicest to Exxon, the nicest to Chevron.
Would run Venezuela.
Well, it's largely going to be, for a period of time, the people that are standing right behind me. We're going to be running it. We're going to be bringing it back. It's a dead, you know, I talk about a dead country. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're
madness.
A country doing better than any country anywhere in the world. And it required leadership. Venezuela has a lot of bad people in there, a lot of bad people that shouldn't be leading. We're not going to take a chance at one of those people take over for Maduro. So you can look at, and others, we have fantastic people, including people in the military. So we're going to have a group of people running it until such time as it can be put back on track, make a lot of money for the people, and give people a great way of life, and also reimbursement
Little
for
Marco
people
looking
in our
extra
country
short
that were
today.
forced out of Venezuela.
Yeah, he is.
Rubio would be.
You said earlier today that you weren't going to back Machado to come back and be the opposition leader in your Fox and Friends interview. And then you also mentioned the vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with the vice president of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship
Well, I
going?
understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation with her, and she's essentially willing to do what we think is necessary to make.
Their vice president, who is now their president because their president got kidnapped by America, is either going to do what America tells her or get kidnapped. Those are their options. That's it.
Make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
Mr. President, Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago,
So we can do regime change.
Yeah.
And today he said he's not concerned about anything happening to him in the aftermath of this operation. So just what your message is
Well,
about
he has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine.
Cocaine
and, I think I
factories.
stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his ass.
Mr. President, did you notify any members of Congress in advance?
Marco, do you want to talk about that? Because you were involved.
The answer is no, but he's going to talk about it.
Sure. We call members of Congress.
Classic
This
as
was not the kind of
textbook
mission that
play.
you can do congressional notification on. It was a trigger-based mission in which conditions had to be met night after night. We watched and monitored that for a number of days. So it's just simply not the kind of mission you can call people and say, hey, we may do this at some point in the next 15 days.
They built a replica of the president's house, the president of Venezuela's house. They built a replica of Maduro's house. They practiced within it. They knew exactly what it looked like because they did spycraft to find out what it looked like and where his safe hiding hole was. They found out where his security measures were for months. Then they built it, which took months, out of steel and the same materials. And then they practiced for months. But it was too busy. It was too important.
We are so back, baby.
It was so important. They couldn't let Congress know. There was just no time. There was no time, says little Marco. There was no time to let Congress know about this.
But it's largely a law enforcement function. Remember, at the end of the day, at its core, this was an arrest of 2 indicted fugitives of American justice, and the Department of War supported the Department of Justice in that job. Now, there are broader policy implications here, but it's just not the kind of mission that you can pre-notify because it endangers the mission.
Plus, if I could add one thing to that, Congress has a tendency to leak. This would not be good.
Because, why, Donnie, why does Congress tell us what the fucking president wants to do? Because you're supposed to represent us. Congress is supposed to represent the American people. The president is supposed to protect the American Constitution. Donald doesn't know that. He doesn't do that. He does not protect the American Constitution. He doesn't know what it says. He does not respect the will of the people because he tells you what your will is. He tells you what you think. He tells you how you feel. He's the anti-American president.
If they leaked, General, I think it would have been maybe a very different result.
No, they represent
but I have to
APACs
say,
and
they
the
knew
big
we were coming
PACs.
at some point, you know.
I know they do that too, but they're supposed to represent us.
A lot of ships out there, they sort of knew we were coming. We weren't. But Congress will leak, and we don't want leakers.
Congress will leak to the American people to make the president not do bad things. That's true. Congress will leak the president's war crimes ahead before he does them so the American people can tell him not to do the war crimes.
People to watch this all play out live. What was Maduro doing when the U.S. forces entered what I assume would be his home? And also, was there any point where the U.S. was considering if Maduro pushed back or resisted killing Maduro?
It could have happened. It could have happened. He was trying to get into a safe place. You know, the safe place is all steel. And he wasn't able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast. They went through the opposition so fast. And there was a lot of opposition. You know, people were wondering, did we get him by surprise? Sort of surprised, but they were waiting for something. It was a lot of opposition. There was a lot of gunfire. You saw some of it today.
A lot of gunfire.
But he was trying to get to a safe place, which wasn't safe because we would have had the door blown up in about 47
Maduro was taking a
seconds,
shit while it happened.
Regardless of how thick the steel was. It was a very thick door. It was a very heavy door, but he was unable to get to that door. He made it to the door. He was unable to close it. Go ahead, finish.
Going to be in the time being right now. Do you know his exact
Well,
whereabouts?
eventually, ultimately, in the near future, he's going to be brought to New York.
And where is he going to be held? Where is he going to be held in New York? Do you know?
That's going to be up to the officials that do these things.
Mr. President, the U.S. has something of a mixed track record of ousting dictators without necessarily a plan for what comes afterwards.
Not with
Did
me.
that weigh on your decision?
Well, that's why we had different presidents, but with me, that's not true. With me,
you didn't fix Afghanistan or Iraq, Donnie. You didn't.
We've had a perfect track record of winning. We win a lot, and we win. If you look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, you look at the Midnight Hammer. Midnight Hammer was incredible. Right now, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. We have essentially peace in the Middle East because of that.
Peace in the Middle East. He's so full of shit.
And if we weren't successful with Midnight Hammer, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. So
they're all dead. LMAO.
I know, right?
A lot of victory. You've had only victories.
He's real good at killing people because he doesn't care.
How long do you expect the U.S. to run Venezuela, and how soon do you want Venezuelan people to hold elections?
So I'd like to do it quickly, but it takes a period of time. You know, we're rebuilding. We have to rebuild their whole infrastructure. The infrastructure is rotted. It's actually very dangerous. It's blow-up territory. Oil is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing to take out of the ground. It can kill a lot of people. It has killed a lot of people doing just that.
What is he talking about? The oil? No. How long until they have an election? You dumb son of a bitch.
The infrastructure is old. It's rotted. Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago, and we're going to be replacing it. And we're going to take a lot of money out so that we can take care of the country. Yeah.
Are you saying that Secretary Rubio and
Mr. President, China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to the oil
China
and drugs?
and Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to.
We're in the oil business. We're going to take Venezuelan oil and sell it to whoever we want, and we will keep that money.
In other words, we'll be selling oil, probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now. but I would say many more will come.
Fuck the people that live there. Fuck the people that live there. We are going to steal their resources and sell it for our profit.
Are you saying that, Mr. President, are you saying that?
Mr. President, thank you. What is your message to the people of Venezuela today? Of course, the civilian population specifically, they have a lot of questions. What is your message to the people of Venezuela?
That you're going to have peace, justice. You're going to have some of the riches that you should have had for a long period of time that was stolen from you.
No.
But you're going to have peace, and you're going to
have the riches that were stolen from you. Boss, the companies are going to keep it, and the American companies are going to keep that money, and the Venezuelans will not see it.
Have safety, you're going to have justice, you're going to have a country, you're going to have a real country, you're going to have potentially a great country. You know, if you go back 20 years, maybe even a little longer ago, that was a great country, and they destroyed it. Remember I said that if we lose this election, the United States will be Venezuela on steroids. That's what would have happened.
Jabber. It
and
means
we
nothing.
Lost the election,
That's
the 2024
nonsense.
election. We suffered so badly when you look at the border from 2020. What they did, what Joe Biden administration did to our country should never be forgotten. But if we had to go through another year of that, we would be exactly where Venezuela was in terms. I used to say, if they win, we're going to be Venezuela on steroids, and that's what would happen.
President, thank you. Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio are going to be running Venezuela, and will you be sending in U.S. military troops to provide?
Team that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro, and right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn in as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, "We'll do whatever you need."
Right, extortion.
I think she was quite gracious, but.
Do what I want or I hurt you.
We're going to have this done right.
It's not a deal.
We're not going to just do this with Maduro, then leave like everybody else, leave and say,
let
it go to hell. If we just left, it has zero chance of ever coming back. We'll run it properly. We'll run it professionally. We'll have the greatest oil companies in the world go in and invest billions and billions of dollars and take out money, use that money in Venezuela. And the biggest beneficiary are going to be the people of Venezuela. And also, I can't stress this strongly enough, the people that got thrown out of Venezuela that are now in the United States, and frankly, some want to stay, and some probably want to go back. Yeah.
In the country, and were any of the detained Americans?
Well, right now they're very protected because nobody's going to mess with us. They're very protected. The people of, and we let them know that you better not touch one of them.
Are you concerned that bad elements of the Maduro regime will remain in place?
Well, we know who they are. We're on them. And
insurgency.
They're acting much differently now than they would have acted 2 days ago. Okay, wait, behind you, please.
Mr. President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to...
Because we're going to take the money. We're going to take the oil. We're going to sell it. We're going to make that money. That's what America first means.
Surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world.
We have tremendous energy in that country, and we need to protect it for the world. We need to take their oil and sell it for our profit. That's what we need to do.
We want to make sure we can protect it.
We need the energy for the ILO.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking disgusting.
Well, Cuba's an interesting case. Cuba is, not doing very well right now. That system has not been a very good one for Cuba. The people there have suffered for many, many years. And I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about because Cuba is a failing nation right now, very badly failing nation, and we want to help the people. It's very similar in the sense that we want to help the people in Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Cuba. So when the communists took over Cuba in the 60s, lots of wealthy Cubans left Cuba because they had
live
the
in
money
the Twilight Zone
to do so. Yeah, we do. It's fucking upside down. The wealthy members of Cuban society who did not want to be taxed or give most of their stuff to a communist regime left. They fled. Lots of poor people tried to flee too. Now, we then sanctioned hard all of Cuba, making to where nobody can sell with them and do business with them. That's why when you look at pictures, you see the 1950s cars that are still being maintained, and they all still dress in the 1950s style. It's like a country that time forgot.
Yes, this is true.
Because they can't get new stuff. They can't buy new stuff. They can't sell new stuff. So they just stuck with all the old stuff. The cars there look like that because they have been they have to be maintained. And cars from the 1950s can be maintained forever. Not like the cheap plastic shit you buy today. But everything in today's economy is supposed to be disposable. So you're supposed to buy a car, run it to the ground, and then sell it.
They've been handicapped from sanctions.
Yeah, they've been handicapped through sanctions. Are they next to have their country taken over? I don't think so. I don't know that they have huge amounts of oil or resources that we want to take from them. It wouldn't be valuable. The only reason we're doing it in Venezuela is because they have all that money to be made. What money is there to be made from doing this in Cuba? I don't think there is. There is political gain to be happening. Killer Mac, if you're still around, there might be political points to be scored, but not actual money. And the way I look at it is the only things that happen in America are things that make money. The only things that get done, the only big projects that get done are the ones that make someone rich. I don't think doing this in Cuba will make anyone
Natural
rich.
resources such as raw minerals may be in Cuba.
Maybe, I'm not sure. Let's see what they have to say, though. Let's hear what they are saying.
Well, I mean, I just gave you a statement a few minutes ago about when the president speaks, you should take him seriously. So suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent, senile men and some.
Christ Almighty! Oh, honey, America's run by corrupt, senile old men. I hope Canada comes and kidnaps Donald Trump.
Isn't he
really
Cuban,
do.
lol?
He is. His parents were Cuban. His parents were some of the wealthy ones that were able to escape. I hope Canada comes and kidnaps our senile, corrupt old man president. I hope they do.
Some cases, not senile, but incompetent nonetheless. It has no economy. It's in total collapse. And by the way, they were, all of the guards that helped protect Maduro, this is well known, their whole spy agency, all that were full of Cubans. I mean, it's amazing. This poor island took over Venezuela in some cases. One of the biggest problems the Venezuelans have is they have to declare independence from Cuba. They tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint. So, yeah, look, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned, at least a little bit.
Putting off the oil flow to Cuba from Venezuela?
Well, the president already announced a week ago that anything that's sanctioned.
That's news to me. I did not know that there were so many Cubans in Venezuela, but it almost
They
makes
couldn't
sense.
give the little guy a box to stand on?
No. They have to, no.
It's sanctioned oil. It's not going to be allowed to get there. So that's a pre-existing.
Ha 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 ha.
The answer is yes. Yes.
Opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Mr. President, on Monday.
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect within the country.
She's a girl. Have you ever met girls? Ugh, they can't run countries.
What the U.S. ends up administrating Venezuela for years,
Well, it won't cost us anything because the money coming out of the ground is very substantial. So it's not going to cost us anything. We will.
The money coming out of the ground is very substantial. He's telling you the fucking truth. He's telling you why he did it. The money coming out of the ground is quite substantial. Money. SpongeBob. SpongeBob is all about the money, my boy.
Well, we want safety there. We want to be surrounded by countries that aren't housing all of our enemies all over the world. That was happening, and you don't want to have that. But we're going to be rebuilding, and we're not spending money. The oil companies are going to go in. They're going to spend money. We're going to take back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago. A lot of money is coming out of the ground. We're going to get reimbursed for all of that. We're going to get reimbursed for everything that we spend. So it's going to be. It's going to be a very important. This is a very big evening that took place last night. We have to be surrounded by safe, secure countries, and we also have to have energy. Very important. We have to have energy that's real energy, not where they're getting 4% and 5% of the energy out of the ground. You take a look. It was such a disaster. So what's going to happen with...
They weren't drilling enough. And they don't get to choose. A country does not get to choose to only drill a little bit. They don't get that choice. If you are not drilling fast enough for the American president, we will attack you.
Venezuela, I think, over the next period of a year is going to be a great thing. And the people of Venezuela will be the biggest beneficiaries.
Going to send in the U.S. military.
Mr. President, what did you last speak to Maduro about when you spoke? And is the
Well,
US
I don't want to get into the
Venezuela?
conversations, but I did have conversations with him, and I said, you got to surrender. And I actually thought he was pretty close to doing so, but now he wished he did, yeah.
Extortion. Do what I tell you or I will hurt you.
You said that Maduro is responsible for drug trafficking. You recently pardoned the former president of Honduras who was convicted of many drug trafficking. Can you explain how these two situations are
Well,
different? And would you ever pardon Maduro?
I endorsed, as you know, the winning president, the man who won in Honduras. I endorsed the man who won in Chile. I endorsed the man who won in Argentina, and we are doing very well with that whole group. What the man that I pardoned was, if you could equate it to us, he was treated like the Biden administration treated a man named Trump. That didn't work out too well for them.
See, it's okay for him to pardon the drug dealer from Honduras because it was an Obama-Biden setup. It was an Obama-Biden deal. That's it. The chart, Obama-Biden deal, doesn't mean anything. It's gibberish. Obama-Biden did it. That bastard Obama-Biden, you've met him. You've seen him on TV, Mr. Obama-Biden. He put the Honduras president in jail and convicted him. So that can't stand. That's not real. That didn't happen. Obama-Biden did that jail sentence. So it doesn't count. It doesn't make any sense. He's a maniac. He does not know that he did it. Remember when he said he didn't know about this guy? That's because he doesn't know anything.
This was a man who was persecuted very unfairly. He was the head of the country. He was persecuted very unfairly. And there are a number of them. And we felt that it was a very unfair situation that happened to him. He's also a party member of the man who won. So obviously the people liked what I did. And one of the reasons that was done.
The people like what I did. Again, the chart. He's allowed to do whatever he wants if it benefits him. Prosecuting the president of Honduras does not benefit Donald Trump. That makes it illegal. Pardoning the drug dealer who was in charge of Honduras does benefit Donald Trump, so that makes it allowed. This is all law school is anymore. This is it. This is all the law that exists any longer. This is it. This is all there is. There is no other options. The law books do not matter. What used to be does not matter. What the Supreme Court says does not matter. What they say on the news does not matter.
It is because of the fact that the party in power felt very strongly that that man was treated very badly. I studied it very quickly, and then I studied it in great detail. I went to a lot of the people standing behind me, and they felt that that man was persecuted and treated.
Oh, they agreed with you. Amazing. The people you hired agreed with you. Just fucking say it ain't so.
Treated very badly. That's why I gave him a pardon.
You referenced boots on the ground earlier. Can you just sort of button this up? Do you envision the U.S. military having a presence in Venezuela as the U.S. runs that?
Well,
country?
no, we're going to have a presence in Venezuela as it pertains to oil, because we have to have, we're sending our expertise in. So you may need something, not very much. But no, we're going to be taking out a tremendous amount of wealth out of the ground, and that wealth is going to the people of Venezuela. And
no, it won't. It will go to the oil CEOs. They will keep the most of it. Most of it.
People from outside of Venezuela that used to be in Venezuela, and it goes also to the United States of America in the form of reimbursement for the damages caused us by that country. So I want to thank you all very much. Thank you. Do you have one? Yes, please. You were so nice before. I'm going to give you the final question. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr.
Unless
President.
it's a bad question, in which case I'll go one word. It's about who?
It's about Putin. If you want.
About Putin. Well,
okay.
That's always nice
You had
to
a phone.
talk about Putin.
You had a phone call with him on Monday. Did he talk at all about Maduro? Did y'all talk about this?
No, we didn't.
And
We
then,
never spoke about Maduro.
Are you mad at him right now? I mean, there's this.
I'm not
intelligence.
thrilled with Putin.
Are you mad at him right now? Are you mad at him right now? Are the girls fighting?
I'm not thrilled with Putin. He's killing too many people. I thought that would be so. I settled 8 1/4 war. You know what the 1/4 was?
You're
Thailand and Cambodia. I did it again.
No, you didn't.
They broke out, and I did it in about 5 hours.
Giant fucking
And I settled
lies.
it. I'm giving myself 1/4, so I'm up to now 8 1/4. In other words, I settled the war, but then they broke out. They had a pretty bad breakout over the last 4 days. I got them to go back to peace. So I only give 1/4. I thought the easiest one would be.
What about Israel? Lol
Russia,
WTF?
Ukraine. It's not, and they both have done some pretty bad things.
He thinks that there's a ceasefire and that the Israelis are totally sticking to it. They're not. The Israeli people, the Israeli military is still killing Palestinian people, but there's a ceasefire, so that means peace.
And look, that's
He's too
Biden's
stupid
war,
to
that's
know
not
the
my war.
difference.
But I want to stop the lives. Did you see where last month 30,000? It was 27,000 the month before. 30,000, mostly soldiers, were killed this last month. 30,000. I want to stop that. You know, I got NATO to pay 5% instead of the 2% that they weren't paying. They weren't paying 2%, now they pay 5%. And we send them a lot of munitions. We send them a lot of things, missiles and various other things, a lot. And they pay. The United States is not losing money. We're probably making money on that. It's the last thing I care about. I just want to stop all those people. We're losing.
It's the last thing I care about. That's a fucking joke.
25,000, 30,000 human beings. They come from two places that are very far away. But if I can stop, because it's something I've been pretty good at doing, deals, I guess. It's all a deal.
Extortion
Life is a big deal.
is what he means.
But if I can stop that war and stop 30,000 young people, in addition to the fact that people are being killed in Kiev, people are being killed in other cities throughout, a much smaller number, but they're being killed, viciously killed. So I'm not happy about it. I thought that would be something that would get solved. We have Mr. Witkoff here. I think that we're making progress, but that's a war that should have never happened. If I were president, it would have never happened. Putin says it. Everybody says it. If I were president, that would have never happened. But I inherited that war. That was Joe Biden, Zelensky, and Putin.
Nonsense.
I came into the
gibberish.
situation, and it's a mess. And I will say this. I watched an operation.
He also promised to end it on day one.
Last night that was so precise. That was so brilliant. I mean, it was incredible. If we had our people, like this general and our people involved, that war would not have gone on very long, that I can tell you. That war, to use an old term, that war has become a bloodbath, and we want it to get stopped. Thank you very much, everybody.
Again, okay, so that was a lot of horseshit. That was a lot of lies. That was a lot of misunderstanding. Ethics. What is the law? It goes in this order. Laws are passed by politicians. Politicians are guided by ethics. Ethics are what we think about things. Conservative politicians have no ethics. They do not think it is wrong to steal from another country. They do not think it's wrong to kidnap the president and steal their oil and sell it for their own profit. That is unethical. They don't care. Conservative politicians, Republicans, have no ethics. So they don't mind kidnapping the president. They don't mind lying to you about his election. They don't mind lying to you about their elections.
Did you
They
see the
have no
videos
ethics.
of him at Mar-a-Lago at New Year's doing the auctions starting at $100,000?
Yeah, I saw some of that shit. That's again, unethical, right? He's just selling shit. He's selling his own golf clubs for $1 million fucking dollars. Unethical. They don't know what ethics are. They don't have any. Make money, make money, make money. That's their only ethic. That's their only reason to exist. That's the only goal they have. Make the money. And if you have to kill a bunch of people to make the money, then they will. If they have to bomb another country to make that money, they will. If they have to dig up dirt out of the ground and sell it, and then that ruins our environment, they will, because that makes the money. Money is all they care about. It's the only ethic they have, and so that ethic goes into their politicians, and their politicians are willing to lie to you about all of the rules and all of the laws and all of the ethics. And then when they are in charge, they ignore the law, they ignore the Constitution, they ignore the rules, they ignore everything about everything so that they can make more money. We're run by unethical thieves right now. Donald Trump is an unethical thief. He takes and he steals. Hi, Actual Cloud. Thanks for coming. I'm getting into the last bit of the ramble, and then I'm probably going to call it off in about 5-10 minutes. Donald Trump is stealing from this country. It is not our oil. It is not our infrastructure. It is not our country. Yet we have kidnapped their president, and we are going to steal their oil so that we can profit, and we will make that money. The American government will get money through taxes from these American oil companies who are going to sell someone else's oil and give them almost nothing, as little as possible. Exxon and Chevron and ConocoPhillips are going to make as much profit from this Venezuelan oil as they possibly can and give as little of it back to the Venezuelan people as they can. This is not about drugs. This is about oil and stealing from them. If I had to make predictions, and I'm going to because that's what I do, my guesstimates and speculations for the moment is that we won't see the long, drawn-out, door-to-door insurgency fight like we did in Iraq. I don't think we will. Johnny does not want to move slowly. He wants shock. He wants awe. He wants to run in there, take everything as fast as possible. If there is some tiny insurgency with like 4 people surrounded in it by 100 school children, he will drop a bomb on them. And he will look into the camera and he will tell you those were insurgent babies. Those were insurgent children. The bad guys were hiding behind a shield of children, so we had to kill all of them. That is what's coming. If there is any insurgency at all. I don't know if there will be. Maduro was not a great guy. I do not know how many people are actually going to be loyal to him. I don't know how many people are going to try to kick the Americans out. I don't know. Hard to tell right now. So because I think that there are not very many of them, I think that we won't actually have the door-to-door looking for insurgents the way we did in Iraq. So it won't drag on forever. And Donald doesn't mind killing civilians, so they won't be moving slowly. They will march and they will go fast and they will kill everyone who gets in their way, and just some of the civilians will die. So if there is an insurgency there, it will be put down quickly and brutally, if there is one. I don't know if there will be one. There may not be one. Because Donald doesn't want to support troops being there for years. He doesn't want these slow...
There might even be a slight drop in gas prices. For a little while at least.
Maybe.
Maybe.
If the companies really do get set up, if the insurgency isn't there and the companies get set up real fast and they get up and running and they're pumping within the year, then maybe the gas price comes down if they want it to. They control that gas price. All they want. If the price stays the same and the supply increases, then they make more profit, It's all about their profit. They control that. You cannot base anything on the actual price of the gas per gallon in America, because they lie to you about that price. They lie to you about the supply. They lie to you about how much profit they're making. They lie to maximize their own profit. Venezuela already does have the infrastructure for a government. They are more advanced a country than something like Afghanistan was in 2001. Afghanistan in 2001 was just a loose collection of tribes. They didn't have a secretary of defense and a secretary of war and a secretary of this and a functioning government. So we don't have to build that. We don't have to teach them how to file the paperwork. Venezuela is a bit more advanced than that. So I don't think we will have to take years to build up a military for them, to build up a middle class, to build up a bureaucracy. We won't have to build that the way we did in Afghanistan. And then we fucked off and didn't do it for a decade. And then we tried to do it all at the last minute because we were busy in Iraq. It's a fucking mess. That was a mess. And this could be another mess. This might be a smaller mess. It's more egregious and more disgusting, but it will still be a mess. The puppet, we may get that lady. I know Donnie didn't say anything nice about her, but she won that Nobel Peace Prize. She is one of the top contenders to run the country. I think the CIA will put her in charge, and she will be the puppet. And she won the Peace Prize, and so everybody's going to know her name, and everybody in America is going to support it. And obviously, she's peaceful. She won the Peace Prize, right? So we're just bring her in, and then she'll run the country. What she will do is make sure that the American companies get all the best stuff, and all the people who own the land will lose that land. They are going to take that land from the people who own it now and give it to an American company so that they can drill that oil and make a profit. And depending on how crooked she or whoever they choose is, will determine how much pushback the Venezuelan people give them. For every dollar that Chevron makes, the Venezuelan people will get 3 pennies. That's what I'm saying. That's just my guesstimate. I'm just making up numbers. But I'm telling you that I'm making up numbers. For every dollar they get, 3 cents will go to the Venezuelans. If their president, chosen by America, is very, very crooked, he will keep 2.5 of those pennies and give half of that last penny to building Venezuela. If he's slightly less crooked, he'll keep 2 pennies and give 1 penny to the Venezuelan people. If he's really altruistic, if he's really a good guy, he'll keep 1 penny and give 2 pennies to building Venezuela. But that's glass half full optimism. I don't expect that to happen. I suspect they will get someone who's crooked and loves money and will keep 2 of the cents and give 1 penny back to the Venezuelan people for every dollar that the American companies make, and build up the Venezuelan people. They'll build a hospital, they'll build a school, they'll build a road, they'll build a bridge, and they will tell you that this is what happens when you are best friends with America. And it will be a slight fraction. It will be 1/100th of the money that they could have if they just drilled it and sold it themselves. Well, we will not allow that, because then Exxon wouldn't profit. Exxon does not want anybody to profit from oil sales except themselves. America does not want anyone to profit without them. And that is why they choose to do what they do. That is why we invade these countries. That's why we invaded Iraq. That's why we bombed Iran because we were mad at, not Iran. We bombed Afghanistan because we were mad at them for the whole 9/11 thing. But it went on for such a long time because the military industrial complex was making money, lots of money, selling bombs and weapons to the American military. Profit is the only thing that makes the world work right now. The only reason anything is done right now is for profit. It's all there is right now. I'm not happy about that. I wish we could do things for good things for the American people, but I'm a fucking socialist, so I'm a crazy person apparently. The only thing that matters in the world right now is profit, and the only thing that is going to happen is things that are profitable. So every single speech Donald gives, profit. Look for where the profit is. Where's the profit? And he's telling you, because he's the most transparent and we can see right through him, that he wants to make all this money. He's going to get bribes from the oil companies. He's going to get taxes from the oil companies that he can spend on building a new ballroom, on building things in America, maybe, or immigration, or honestly paying ISIS paychecks. That's all that matters. Money, 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 money. If anybody tells you this is not about money, they're trying to trick you, or they've been tricked themselves. And that's all there is to it. That's it for me today. I appreciate everybody who's here. Anyway, thanks for coming in, Actual Cloud. I know you just got here, but thanks for being here. Medicolis. I appreciate you becoming a follower. Alex Jones is proud of you. He's very proud of the way that you turn a frog. It's very nice. Shinsito, thanks for being here. What you see is I jumped in real quick. Biden had a dry cough every once in a while, but this guy's spit's mouth is sick. Yeah. I appreciate everyone who's here. Thanks for coming. I will be back on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, 7 p.m. West Coast, Best Coast PST time, to talk about any more of this that pops up. So if any of it pops up, you can tell me about it in my Discord. Bam. There we go. Discord. You can go on over there and you can tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. You can leave links to stuff like that. You can argue with people in chat. You can discuss with things. You can debate people. It'll be a good time. Go on over there, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. Leave links. I will look at them and then I'll put them up on the screen if they're good links, and we can discuss them. It's a good time, and then it'll be interactive. You can tell me what to think and what to talk about, and then I'll talk about it, and then we'll all be better off. So that's it for me today. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. I love you. I will be back on Wednesday unless the Gestapo kicks in my door and drags me off to the gulag. Goodbye.
Hello human, it is me, the algorithm. Press the subscribe button to make me happy.